Hello everyone. We were planning to start early to accommodate a network match in the context of the duelist tournament that our community is organizing at the moment, but it turns out we are right on time. It's 9 CT, 3 on the eastern coast, and we are starting. So joining with me today for commentary is Siontific. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Old World. Scientific here. Excited to have another game of the tournament starting, and looks like we're going to have a good match, hopefully.
Yep, indeed. So this is Droner versus Moroten. I will need a bit of time to understand the map. There's a big C in the middle. So, well, the game is in Russian, so I suppose I should have the settings displayed in English. So we are finding out bugs that we are going to try to fix. At the moment, I'm not sure what the map is from the pool. Is Inland Sea in the pool of maps of map scripts for the tournament?
Yep, no, this is definitely going to be an inland sea. It looks like it's just typical dual size square, no wide or anything like that. So it's the smaller side, seaside. But it is interesting. It does seem like we are going to be stuck reading in Russian when we're on Droner's perspective. If you switch to the other player, you get the English back.
All
So
right, that will be very helpful. Thank you, Scientific, for telling for teaching me how to use the game. But yeah, it looks like a very interesting map, and I haven't seen a duel on Inland Sea for some time. I haven't watched all games that have been started for the tournament, but I think it will make for a very different setup. I don't know which of the player chose the map script and the format and which one chose the picking order, so we'll have to see with that. I'll try to toggle better between the players, although the English on one side will be enticing. I'll try not to be biased. We are seeing one tribe, two tribes, three, four, five tribes on the map. There's three Scythian sites in the northwest, three Thracian sites in the northeast, a single goal site top north, a single Numidian site in the far south, and three Vandals in the middle, including an island. So we'll see how that plays out. But five tribes on a dual map is on the upper margin. And Moroten found it first, opted for Rome and a tactician, a warlike tactician, no less.
All right, yep, a tactician on Rome. That's going to be a very deadly start to deal with. It's going to be interesting though because that inland sea situation, we basically have only two routes to one side of the map from the other, and it's kind of not really a tight choke point, but kind of going to be like a choke point situation where you have a city site directly in that center path on both the top and bottom side. So it should be interesting to see if any naval play comes into play, or if maybe Rome uses its mobility to expand quickly. They're already very close to their nearest
Mhm.
barbarian camp.
Indeed, indeed. We see a bit more easily the map and the shape of it. Obviously, if they go south, as they seem to be doing, they will have a much shorter route to potentially apply early threats onto Persia, as Donor opted to play Persia than in the north. So there will be a bit of luck depending on if they explore and expand north or south. I suspect. Persia seems to be looking north, at least for Slinger and camp clearing. Scout hasn't moved yet, and our Persian player has opted for hunters. I imagine with the view of getting a slinger in the not too distant future. There are no camp resources, but there's iron close by. Three pastures from the start, hence I imagine the choice of Persia and going for a builder leader to start with and an affable one, I believe, at that. So quick settlers, super quick workers, and I imagine rapid expansion. So we'll see the order production management to be able to fuel that. But interesting play already on the Persian side.
I have to say, I really appreciate that Droner's perspective is completely in Russian because I feel like this is going to be the ultimate test of exactly how much I know about this game through instinct alone because I
Yeah,
can't understand any of the language on the tooltips. So,
abs
yep, it does look like he went affable.
absolutely. So I was, yeah, I didn't voice it, but I had the feeling of getting quizzed as well. Can I figure out what they are doing with just that? So, yeah, that's going to be interesting for sure. So, Wire and Tactician for expansion toward the south on the Roman side, but the scout, sorry, is exploring north, so mapping out the sea. I haven't checked yet if Droner is going both directions as well, but might play a role. The early exploration. Persia traditionally has an advantage, but we'll see what it does with it.
Yeah, really lucky that he was just blindly able to bump into that barbarian site. And as always, I think it's very interesting to see in this first couple of turns just what direction the players head in because you have Rome, who's going to get a little bit more forward expansion off of that first barb site, whereas Persia's going north and they're going to be, kind of getting their starting area filled in first because I wouldn't be surprised if they go towards those mountains next.
Yeah, indeed. Going north, I see some use of Persia harvesting bonus. So the capital is already over a third of the way toward developing. From this early, I'm not sure what got harvested exactly. I only see one oni, but that's good. Maybe an event provided a bit of a culture boost as well. Um, they're going to clear the barbarian camp just out of time, so there is an additional unit he should be able to deal with no problem, especially if he settles a spot. We'll see what that does.
I'll be very interested to see if Rome decides to bring in patrons in this game. On this map, there are four pearls on the Vandal site. That is 100%
Yes.
culture boost. He can careen to a legendary city, even if that city settled like third or fourth. So I'd be curious to see if he decides to make sure that patrons enters the game.
Yeah, we'll see if he scouts it in time, but four pearls in immediate reach, an additional luxury for extra culture, another pearl a bit further away, and marble to get the civics to do more with that. Additional specialist would be a crazy patron seat. So we'll see if I can wise up to that, find out the map layout, because that's one of the of the unfortunate things in old world. You might have an awesome site right beside and just not know about it. So I expect he'll see a little bit from his borders, at least one of the pearls, but I think his scout was a bit away from there. Warrior second, right after the settler. So I read that as pushing for extra expansion. Uh, we'll see, but it will be interesting. Of course, those southern spots with three and two pastures respectively will be great for Persia. We'll see if Rome can can get as much value out of it.
Interesting to see Rome not force marching to make sure that that settle happens as soon as possible. He could have gotten the southern site, but he opted for the forward settle, which does make sense. But I would have liked to see a force march in that situation because really getting that build queue online as soon as the settler hits the location is just the best thing you can do, I think.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about the change of direction for the tactician. It's actually a very good move if he can smell that Vandal site and go for patrons earlier rather than later. Although the spot is awesome enough that even as a fourth city, it would still be great. There's the 2 hours or spot up north that he maybe wants for a second champion city. Not sure about that, but. But yeah, if he's trying to rush, going north is actually way slower, of course, because of the distance involved to get in touch with Persia. So I wonder how that will play out. And it's military after military on Persian side. We are having a
Oh,
hunter city after the riders.
I like that. That'll blunt a little bit of that military boost from the champions, and also kind of make up for the fact that Rome automatically gets that two training. So by having both riders and hunters, you effectively get that kind of plus two training in all of or most of your cities as Persia as well, because you have the two military families. They're one of the only factions in the game that actually has access to two military families, the other one being Assyria.
Indeed, indeed, an interesting play. We saw it yesterday as well, Hunter not yesterday on the first match of the tournament. Sorry, I'm getting confused by the all-nighter there. The rider plus Hunter. I think I really like it in this context because the two extra order will come in handy for early to essentially work with this builder. You will be able to make workers incredibly quickly, being a builder and being affable and having three growth resources in his capital, and the ability to get the orders to power whatever he makes with it. Or additional workers in particular will be awesome, and of course the riders, two extra orders supercharge that as well.
Yep, it is interesting to see because we already have a huge amount of growth potential in Parsa compared to Rome. We have 13.6 growth in Parsa and, oh, I guess only 12. That's weird. Wait a minute, hold on. Oh, I didn't change perspectives.
Ah.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, he has a malice. He has a minus. Does he have
Oh,
cruel?
is he cruel? Yeah, we are guessing
Yeah,
the
okay.
same way.
I was wondering
Uh,
why that was. Okay, so that's good for Rome. That evens out there because he already has the two pastures and the farm online compared to just the farm for Rome.
oh, that's strange. So apparently, he appointed a builder as a governor, but not his leader. I don't know where his leader is, but it's not the same portrait. So
Oh,
curiously, he has an affable builder on hand, but he appointed a cruel one. So I
okay,
assume that's a mistake. That's a misclick something,
no,
but that's very unfortunate.
I think I have an idea of what he decided to do. He decided to take his affable builder and appoint it as a governor in the rider seat, taking advantage
Oh
of that
yes.
leadership potential. And so now he has a faster worker in that second seat. I actually think that's a pretty clever idea. So kudos to him.
Ah, all right. I would definitely have put the leader on the capital. And I didn't see you had appointed the leader somewhere else. But yeah, fair enough. It makes sense that way. Uh, Two governors already, so we are seeing the controversial garrison change at play already.
That is one setting change that I believe that they went with their prosperity. Again, players in the tournament can augment settings as long as they both agree. And we're looking at sufficient prosperity in this game, which means they
Oh.
both started with 200 civics.
Okay, yeah, well, thank you for pointing that out. I had missed it. So we see a statesman seat on the Roman side. So of course he will have no such civic squandery early on, and a pair of diplomats assigned as governor for the opinion boost, I assume primarily, but I haven't checked their stats yet.
Yep, we'd have double governors on Rome as well, both two diplomats, interestingly enough. So apparently he's going for high opinion early, which is not bad. And also that's going to be good for civic boost if he decides to start cranking out some specialists in either location. So it's interesting to see the double builders on Persia. That's going to be really good for development. And also there's still high growth in the cap, even though the ruler didn't get there. Plus he had the affable in the second city. So he got two workers in that second city really quickly by make I find that pretty impressive.
Yeah, I wouldn't have considered it, but it's definitely a good play. You're right. I was just like thrown off by finding out about Cruel, where I had picked an affable builder originally, but solid play. And yeah, the opinion play on the Greeks on the Roman side, sorry, of course favors statesmen as well, because they get additional civics with good opinion. So a diplomat there early, pushing them to please, will help his civics production and his specialist making and all that. We'll see how early he can prioritize pasture. This is a very pasture heavy map. I would almost have expected Persia versus Ati or something like that, but Rome can be a powerhouse no matter what. Well, as any nation. So yeah, I wonder how that will play out.
Speaking of pastures, we have Rome's first technology being researched was divination, and we have stone cutting on Persia with, and they already have it. They're making their way to labor force already.
Yeah,
So we might see a play for Judaism since we have these pastures online already. So they could get an early religion if they want it.
yeah, and I wonder if they'll compete for it. But well, I can't think that Rome can easily compete with Persia for ranchers, of course. But they are going labor force, so probably Persia almost has it in the bag already. Um, and especially with no landowners, or at least no landowners yet. In this specific case, I would think patrons. If he finds out about the Vandal spot, you highlight it with well, potentially 4 pearls and some additional resources would be well worth it. But yeah, I wonder what he has in mind for settlement. On the western side of the map. Another consequence, I believe, of having picked a bit higher prosperity is they have a few more sites with only occupied by barbarian, a free site not occupied at all in the south, and so that's a bit less pressure to declare on tribes early and all that. So I'm not sure yet what impact that will have on the game. Interesting to see some variation anyway in setup between the games.
It looks like we have potentially a free warrior event on Rome. We have a warrior already up in the middle of the Gaul, in the middle of the map towards the Gaul. So I would have to assume that that spawned off of some type of event where they met a tribe.
Yeah, that definitely looks like an event for sure. Maybe on discovering a landmark or contacting the goals. I'm not sure. Uh, our player is probably not aware that this is a single goal site, although they might see that they are already much weaker than them, which is a tell. But with very few units, they could wipe out the whole tribe. Same, I believe, with the Numidians in the south, who started the game with a single spot.
Also related to exploration, Rome is has his scout on the other side of the map already, so they should be meeting soon. And from all of the distance he's traveled thus far, he already has the Explorer cognomen for that plus 30 legitimacy. So he's making good progress clearing out the map and discovering landmarks, which is nice.
Yeah, thanks to the tactician wisdom and I don't know what else yet. Rome has a slight tech advantage at the moment, 16 to 12. On the other side, Persia doesn't have a huge margin yet, but they're still consistently above the order production of Rome. So a bit of a traditional setup, order versus science, something somewhat classic with Persia. Uh, I'll be
In
interested.
fact,
Yeah.
we actually have, just to cap off that legitimacy note, we actually have Rome with 54 legitimacy already to Persia's 37. So they have a decent leg up just by getting that early cognomen.
Yeah, exploration, the early cognomen, and quickly enough, I suspect, with 3 warriors on the field right now already, probably some military cognomens are going to come in quickly. And I misread actually that spot that is just cleared on the Roman side as 3 or in reasonable range. So that's an obvious great military spot. It controls a choke point almost completely as well. So that's an obvious choice there. We'll see if the player just double settles the family. Some are reluctant to do that, but I think here it's an obvious pick to found the champion city even before founding the third family.
So it looks like our scouts have just barely missed each other. If Persia keeps going directly west, they will. Oh, no, they
Yep,
met. They just met now.
spotted. It's the hello there moment in the game.
Yep, yep. So now they're aware of what they're dealing with. Rome knows he's up against a builder. Obviously, Persia knows we're up against a tactician, and he should see that his opponent is stronger than him now, and so that would could make him a little bit nervous. And we'll see if how he reacts.
Yeah, indeed. I'm slightly worried about Persia having slept their slinger without healing it. They are making a warrior, to be fair, so they will be able to resume clearing out sites, but there is a very big discrepancy already between. Oh, he's healing, so that's good. His slinger will be ready earlier, but the speed of expansion and the clearing out camp on the Roman side is quicker than I expected, as opposed to a builder. But the next settler is coming out, so maybe that will be closely matched in not too long.
Yeah, that is one of the drawbacks of building those two workers right away. Your expansion is going to slow down. He had a unit that spawned from the camp that he was clearing right away, so he's going to have to hang back and heal that slinger. We're talking about Persia in this situation. So that's I am in a situation. I would look at the spot right now as Persia, and I would be a little not happy with my rate of expansion because while he does have a city site to settle, it's turn 13 and we still have no progress clearing on any other city sites on this side of the map, where
Mhm.
Rome has two other extra ones cleared and they're making their way towards a fourth one, or a third one rather. But we do have the Oracle coming out very early
Yeah.
from Persia. I find that to be a pretty interesting grab.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Oracle, especially before any religion, including paganism, has been founded. But it's a wonder. It's still victory points, it's still culture. Still an intriguing choice. I haven't checked what wonders are available, and I can guess Oracle from the start, but I cannot read Russian at the moment. I guess 1,000 spots are better for Persia than they are for Rome because of the pasture resources. But I would hope that he would clear out the barbarian spot with additional pastures. It's on the way. He knows it's there because his scout has crossed there. He has one scout south, one scout north, so he will have better vision on average than Rome. Still, Rome has found out about the patron site on their side. They will clear it out quickly, I imagine, and that will be a powerhouse spot for them as well, unless they decide to found a second champion and delay patrons and still force.
One benefit to an early Oracle or for the Oracle throughout the game in general, you still do get that extra tech draw, and that's going to speed up your rate of research just a little bit. I think
Mhm.
Alcaris did an analysis one time recently and discovered, and we both discovered to our surprise, that having the Oracle is comparable to about half the speed that you would get if you were running a scholar leader without having a scholar leader. So that extra card draw can actually speed your way through the destinations that you want to get to rapidly. And that can make it an underrated wonder, I think. Definitely not a big grab at the start, but I think it can be underrated.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, I was just picking up on that extra tech card as Mojo mentioned in chat. And hello chat. I've barely said hello to anyone, but hello everyone. Mojo, Rincewind, Pil Pale, and welcome as first chatter as well, Nilen. And Ainara, welcome everyone. And yes, indeed, but having the numbers, I hadn't worked it out what having a larger hand to pick from in the tech draws does. It's very interesting insights that you are sharing at the moment. So awesome number crunching there. And thank you for the precision. And indeed, it might be well better than I accounted for. I typically would go for the Oracle, mostly for the extra agents, the extra agent network, and the visibility. But there's more to it than I was saying. So, uh, good point
Well, there
indeed.
is still time. There's 10 turns before the oracle's done, and so we have divination on Rome already. So if they build a shrine, then we'll get at least one network over in Rome for the Persians.
Yeah, reviewing the wonders in the game. There's the Oracle. There's still time to found religions, and Rome might well be opting more for Zoroastrianism, and early shrines is possible. They're definitely going divination first, so I expect that, and they probably don't hope to compete for Judaism. Other wonders in the game: pyramids, always high value, accelerates any low and unique unit rushes. The ziggurat, the Ishtar Gate, the lighthouse, the Apadana. So up there, it's all the classic set. The Jebel Barkal is the first deviation, and by that I mean wonders introduced in the Wonder dynasties. The Acropolis, the Colossus, the Cothon, the Circus Maxima, the Pantheon, and the Heliopolis. So I wonder what our players will prioritize. Um, the Oracle is certainly defensible. Maybe I would have wanted pyramids first, but maybe that wasn't as affordable depending on the resources Persia found and uh, and could harvest, etc. We already have a Roman scout parked right on the outskirts of a Persian city. And Persia scouts are in the middle of the map yet, so it doesn't have quite the same level of information about his opponent.
Persia's going to have to be very careful with that oracle. I don't know how many people know this, but you can destroy the production of a wonder with only a scout. It does not have to be a military unit. So, if for any reason Persia decides to delay the production of that oracle and Rome happens to spot it, they can literally just take two steps into Persia and delete that wonder.
Oh, indeed, and I think it's double relevant. You are very right about that point because as the value of the oracle grows with additional religious funding, because it means you'll get additional agent network. If Moroten or if Droner or Persian players gets greedy and decides to delay the oracle to wait for additional religious funding, there's an opportunity for Moroten. Sorry, I'm mixing up names. To scrap it entirely. So it's it's not
The
that
other
common
important
that we
thing
delay
about that
wonders, but this one can happen. So
Yep. And the other important thing about that scout is that Rome now has some decent knowledge about how it well or slow, should I say, Droner is expanding to this tribal site. He knows that he has increase in tempo here because he's already cleared. He's finishing up that Vandal camp next turn. He's already cleared his whole starting turn.
hmm indeed, and Persia, interestingly, has reallocated governors. So his leader builder is now on the capital. For now, getting a specialist, probably hoping to grow to get another rancher. Interestingly, and I very much disagree with that choice, he's going for a miner first. I assume to get the iron in scope, I would definitely have gone a pasture for the extra order, gaining access to another pasture, and getting on the way to Judaism, especially as he's taking labor force. But he wants the iron, so he's working on a specialist. He'll have to wait a bit more to get the citizens to get his ranchers to go for that play. But we'll see how that turns out.
Meanwhile, we have Rome, who took advantage of their polis starting tech to build a hamlet to grab that that iron, which is a pretty solid play.
hmm Indeed, a good use for police is border management. That's what hamlets are for. Of course, they have side benefits, adjacency bonuses for Bath and audience, but an early grab of additional resources on the cheap, sometimes even the ability to bulldoze, to build a urban improvement on top of a resource to get later and get an early boost is actually a valuable benefits of these. He's opted to start his first shrine in his statesman seat, so this will be a holy site. He's going for a scout there to reinforce his intelligence gathering. An interesting play. Not going first for the barley. Yeah, I guess he wants his shot as at funding Zoroastrianism, and the patron seat is cleared. So I expect that will be the obvious third city for for Rome, but he's already almost secure from raids because of the distance between his actual city and the Scythian sites in the north. I'm not sure these sites are in range for raids. Uh, there will be when he found the new city, but there's already big value in having cleared up the north situation, even if he hasn't settled there yet.
Interesting to see that with access to both trapping and ironworking, that Persia is fixating primarily on warriors at the moment rather than spending any gold and bringing out an additional slinger. I might grab at least a second slinger because you have a handful of rivers when you're going to be trying to clear that mountain tribal site. And I think having a couple of ranged attacks is just pretty solid for overall order efficiency.
Absolutely, and it's very important to be able to focus fire as well to finish kills. Quite often, you might find you don't have the room to have enough melee attacks, so a few slingers are precious. I've often found myself wishing I had more slingers. The temptation, of course, is to dedicate your stone to urban improvements or to keep them for wonders. I'll note on the good side that our Persian player joiner has bitten the bullet and is going for some flatland quarries to not just hope for stone at a later point. So good play there. Up in his Persian seat. I'm not able to read Russian, so I don't know the name of the city. I can infer Parsa, but the others are random. He's definitely getting the pastures in his southern city. He opted for a second rider city, so we don't know yet if he wants to get clerics or statesmen for his third spot, his third family. We'll have to wait and see at a later date.
Yeah, I'm sure he did that for the extra training because he definitely knows that he needs more military to ramp up his clear speed. And again, that kind of puts him similar in parity to Roman's inherent advantage of 2+ training per city. Persia at the moment does have 2 extra training in all of their cities, so that's nice.
hmm Yeah, it will still be a catch-up game, I expect, with Roma getting its ore miner, which will be worth 3 additional training on top of the ore itself, multiplied by the champion seat, and there's an obvious great champion seat up north that will push on. Is founded that patron seat. We'll see how quickly it can ramp up. I believe it was founded on turn 17, I'd say. There's a bit of culture accumulated. No, just this turn. It's zero culture at the moment. So turn 18 founding for this patron seat, but what a seat. It would be interesting to see how it develops.
Yep, it does seem like Persia managed to beat Rome to a third city by at least 1 turn. So that's pretty. Actually, no, by several turns because they already have some workers down there. So that doesn't make sense. I'm behind. I think that'll be something that's interesting to keep an eye on because while Persia doesn't have anywhere left to expand at the moment, Rome, on the other hand, has 3 free sites, but they're not building a single extra settler at the moment. So I'd be curious to see who ends up taking the lead in terms of overall expansion because they're both kind of being delayed, but by different things at the moment.
Indeed, indeed, it's true. I don't noticed yet that no settlers are in protection, but some of the advantage in clearing might be a bit wasted by a different bottleneck. So it's interesting that for entirely different reasons, they are actually quite comparable still. It's 22 research to 15. So there's a bit of a lead, an early one for early techs with Rome. We'll see how that progresses once again. Apparently, we have some missing localization in the ranking and stats, but I'm thankful for it because I can identify that I'm looking at order production at the moment. Persia is still consistently ahead, not by that much, but well, 12
If
to
you
15.
if you swap to Moroten to the Roman perspective when you go in the stats, you'll get English.
Yeah, yeah, I know, but I just clicked on it while I was on Persia, and I'm trying to get better at looking at both viewpoints, as it was a rightful feedback after a recent stream. So, uh, but there is some silver lining to some of our localization issues, it seems. Yeah, so Rome consistently a bit above, I would say 22 to 16. So, well, actually, that's significant. That's some 30%, but it's early day. It can be compensated quite quickly later on. The area between the two is, in the absolute sense, not that much, but a bit of a tech advantage still, and it matters when you can get your early tech quickly enough. Rome just unlocked husbandry, so that might help alleviate. There's opportunity for two sheep pastures in the capital, plus horses for orders, an additional horse in Capua, and an additional two sheep resources in Nida. So there's a lot of value in husbandry, and as a consequence, Rome is now going spoked wheel, because two of his three cities will be able to build to make mounted units if he wants them.
Yeah, very, very interesting development with an early spoked wheel grab for Rome. I definitely find that interesting. Champion seat with a horse in it and iron located nearby. He should very easily get into himself into a position to be able to pull out chariots in 4 turns or even 3 turns very consistently. And that could be dangerous for Persia, even though they have spoked wheel access nearby. We don't see any progress on that front.
Yeah, indeed, it's a very interesting start. So I'm checking at the moment. I'm trying to make sure I don't see it, but it puts me in mind of balanced start, which is an option that was for a long time only available in multiplayer. Today, it's been made available in single player as well. But that's essentially an option that will guarantee that you have a grain or in and well, grain or an horses close to your capital to make a bit of balance. But this is not on for this game. Typically, this option will avoid generating as typical cities, thematic cities like multiple pastures at once or multiple game, good hunter or patron start for the capital because it enforces the resources available. But here it feels we have the benefit of balanced start without balanced start. So we have a quite thematic city which is very pasture oriented, but it's also like a balanced start having bonus training, guaranteed growth from the early game, and the availability of horses for any unique units that require them. So a nice peculiarity of this map generation.
Yep, and Persia has had access to spoked wheel in their deck, and they're opting for drama, so they're probably going to be eyeballing that free settler. Early drama can be a decent grab, both because Odeons are a decent science building, but that free settler is always a clutch grab early on.
Yeah, indeed, and the culture won't hurt either. So I haven't checked if they've gone divination. No, not yet. So there's a sort of double value in getting some way to improve your culture, and Rome will be able to get some of that with divination and shrines. But here, with the wonder and a few adherents, is better able to reach developing and the ability to rush in time. So that should be quite good as well.
Indeed. I think if I were Persia, I might opt for military drill because in my mind, I would be thinking about the output of Rome and their ability with champions to outproduce me. And the other thing I'm thinking too is it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Rome. Although already on the way to spoked wheel, they're going to have a five strength unit. It's going to be a chariot. And currently, the closest thing, I mean, Persia could go spears. Persia going spears would be an interesting development.
Indeed, but it's kind of counter to expectations, right? We tend to associate Persia because of their unique unit and starting with the boundary with mounted units, but here it's Rome going for it. Persia has gone labor force, so they have the starting point. They could take phalanx if it's on offer, but I cannot expect that they have a good read on what Rome is doing. They would have to just guess. They are still getting closer to the borders of Rome, but they don't have a clear view of what's happening there. And their closest scout is a southern one, and there's not much to read in what's happening in Nida. Uh, he could find out that there's a boundary if he had a scout close to Rome, but the northern scout is still quite a ways away and not able to get this information yet.
We have now reached a point where Persia actually knows and has revealed more of the map than Rome. Persia has about half of the map on both north and south cleared, whereas Rome has basically gotten his scout outside of the northern city there, the riders Bactra, and has just kind of hung out and hasn't really moved that scout or done much exploring since.
Yeah, with the point you made about the side possibility, the slight chance of being able to cancel the wonder, I think I would be very tempted to just keep my scout around. He has a direct view of three military units, which he could guess and correctly guess that are the entire military of the Persian side. He can see the wonder progressing, so I think it's an understandable, at the very least, prioritization to be leaving his scout there and spending his orders elsewhere for now. But yeah, it's fair to say that with an extra scout, we expect Persia to be able to scout quicker.
Very interesting development in Rome. Moroten has chosen to rush the farmer on the wheat tile.
Oh, indeed. So the growth will be helpful, but well, yeah, it won't be a full catch-up yet. I guess is gearing for a bit of a longer play. I would expect. This said, if you're going to make specialists in a champion seat, rushing them is great. You will have more time to be doing what you naturally do great, like warrior. I half expect he's probably already on 2 turns warriors if he wants them. Yes, indeed. 2 turns warrior or slingers if you want to produce them. And with this tactician and two steadfast warrior clearing up Scythian camps very efficiently, he doesn't have great urgency yet on producing other military units. Still, by default, I would have expected him to wait for military drill to get officers if he's going to get any specialists, but an interesting play nonetheless. All right. Persia also has a more efficient combat group now with 3 units. Is clearing up the champion spot with the 3 ores. That is suggesting a third military city. I don't know if he'll pick riders or hunters. Um, and so we will have to wait a little bit more to know if he wants statesmen or clerics. Um, I would assume statesman, but I don't know what he has in mind. He's almost guaranteed a religion if he wants it. So, but I don't think he's starting on even one rancher yet. So, right, it's in reach, but he hasn't gone for it yet.
Indeed, it would be interesting to see which third family Persia does bring. I have a hunch it's going to be statesmen. It's pretty later into the game, and I feel like those extra orders would be nice. There is some delay on the order boost that you're going to get from clerics, and because you need divination to make that work, and he still doesn't have divination yet. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see statesmen.
Indeed, I would agree on that. That would be my read as well. I've been surprised by player enough that I don't want to make hard predictions anymore, but it would make sense. Statesman from the top of my head, so I might be off like pearls and wine from the top of my head. And there's pearls around, so that would fit as well. Surely he knows about it, and just the raw orders and the quick infusion of civics when funding the seat to adopt a law or rush something out is quite valuable in itself. So that's what I would expect as well. But probably another military city in the meantime. No, he opted for statesman on the or side. So we'll have power statesman, possibly or statesman, military statesman for the seat. That would be interesting to see.
I can get behind that. He's going to have that faster civic production to get those two iron miners online quicker than you would with a military city. So there's going to be some makeup there in terms of military unit tempo from the statesman. He can always just do specialists with a different spot. In this forward site where we're going to have the pearls, there's the quarry there, the marble. So he can put a second statesman city there and specialize that one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not what the resource suggests by default, but is already funded three military city. Is delayed a little bit funding his third family, and it makes complete sense. And statesmen are just generically good enough to be able to make work everything. Is going to get the fast worker with his builder leader. Is going to be able to get the ore miners if he wants them. No problem with his statesman bonuses. Extra civics are well. The best in the game for a family at any rate, so that would be that's definitely still a strong play, and we'll see what directions he goes in. I, I would imagine clearing out the Vandal side that became patrons on the Roman side, but he might decide to prioritize going toward his opponent through the north. And yeah, I'm curious to see what he'll opt for there.
I'm still surprised we're not seeing another settler from Rome yet. We have him rushing out that farmer from the wheat. We've finished the pasture in Rome as well, but yet his second build after the rush was another slinger. I find that interesting that we're not going full bore for expansion here when he has three vacant city sites and he now knows that Persia has beat him to a fourth city.
Yeah, that feels a bit surprising. I mean, maybe he wants to just keep his lead in military power. Well, there's no lead at the moment. They are similar, of course. Uh, but I agree. He's starting to lag behind a bit in expansion, and that's worrying. Any additional spot that would produce a settler, even in 8 turns, a slow settler would be very valuable. And at one point, you have to bite the bullet. And even if it's an awesome champion seat or a city that is busy doing something else, like an acolyte trying to go for Zoroastrianism in Nida, uh, a bit more. A bit more attention to expansion early on usually pays out, especially in a dual setup.
All right, we have a very great development over in Persia. Chat was asking about tall strategies and things like that, and we already have a second wonder in Persia. They have secured the pyramids, which is going to be a huge momentum booster for them because now all of their laws are going to be half cost in terms of civics, and then of course they get another extra order, which Persia doesn't need more orders, but it's lovely to have.
Indeed, indeed. We are seeing the builder there. I believe these pyramids, well, I haven't checked, but the five discipline provides very good income. There's just token stone protection, but still stone protection online. Now being two wonders, just the VP pressure and the pyramid will be very valuable. Roman paganism has been funded, so there will be some extra value from the Oracle on top of the extra flexibility in the tech draw. So a strong build up start, a strong tall start on Persia, well caught Mojo, and indeed interesting to say. That's not what I would have expected, but I would say that's strong play actually. Putting early pressure with VPs in a duel forces your opponent to react and gains you quite a bit of initiative. And right there, they go from 4 to 4 tied in VP to 4 to 6 and guaranteed 4 to 8 as soon as the pyramid's complete. So if expansion continues, they will have a sizable advantage there.
Okay, we finally have a settler coming out in Rome. 7 turns, but that's all right.
Yeah, solid. Yeah, well, it was warranted at this point. I think extra settling. He will be able to keep clearing with a strong hero that can heal in the field and a tactician that can stun a unit, and both his warriors being steadfast. So his warrior pair is extraordinarily efficient at the moment in clearing camps. But still, at one point you want to settle those spots and get closer to your opponent and capitalize on clearing. So it's a bit reassuring to see a settler on the way in Rome.
Persia, it's definitely going full on development here. We have two more workers coming out. We have another settler, even though he has not cleared a location yet. So between the 5 turn settler that Persia's bringing online, and the 7 turn settler from Rome, I wouldn't be surprised if the Roman settler hits their destination first. But again, that catches them up to 4 cities, while Persia is looking to clear for their 5th city.
Yes, indeed. Only 8 seconds to spend 5 orders, so I hope Persia will not waste too many of these orders. Events haven't been sorted through either, and there we are, wasting a few orders. I believe he should be able to resolve these events and pick his protection now. He's going for the stone boost, which is always a bit hard to pass up. But meaning he still has resources in the tank to go for further wonder plays if he wants it.
Yeah, snatching up all of the weak wonders would definitely be a pretty strong opening for Persia, for sure.
Yeah, and he's produced an extra warrior to be able to deal with warriors and barbs ranging toward his city in the south, so he's not naked there. Still, I would like to see a bit more. Make a move with his core group of units, clear up the Vandal site maybe, or move against the Thracians. But solid play. At one point, he will force Rome to move toward him, and that's always a strong play to force any kind of initiative. And we are seeing an additional settler from Capua, the patron seat in Rome. So there'll be a bit catch up. Well, settler everywhere actually. Settler in Nida, settler in Roma, settler in Capua. I half expect. Well, actually, I thought it was a shrine that he was building in Rome to secure Zoroastrianism, but it's an additional hamlet actually to just grab the pasture. Which why not? But I think if you're going divination and investing in an acolyte, you should at least try to grab uh, to grab Zoroastrianism. So it's still on the board, but we'll see what goes on with that.
Well, he's got 29 science on turn 26, which really isn't a bad tempo to have. He knows he's against the builder, which, I mean, you definitely want to ramp up your development because letting a builder sit on their own is certainly going to be bad news for you. However, maybe he's thinking he doesn't need the science right now, and so he's prioritizing other things. It's definitely great to see the three settlers from all three cities coming out because that means in the next 10 or 11 turns, he's going to double his city count. And that's just solid. While Persia is still going to be in a position where they have to clear multiple sites.
Indeed, indeed, that's a strong point. The settlers will certainly be useful, but it feels a bit unfocused, I would say, as a play. Still solid, and they're doing what they need to do. Persia, I hope. Let me switch viewpoint. Moving against that side, and indeed they are. They are starting to handle the the Vandal side. They don't know, as we do, that they will probably expose to raids from the central city. Either of them, well, both will probably get raided. It will be interesting to see if there is any naval play in this game, because that would be an amazing shortcut through the middle of the map. And of course, the central city is quite tempting. It's a very small island, but with 3 gross resources between the nets and the game, 2 additional die for some culture, and it could anchor a naval strategy quite strongly. Easy to defend as well, with only 4 tiles. Well, one settling, only 3 tiles to block from enemy disembarkation. So we'll see if that plays any role in the game.
Definitely getting a strong economy on Persia now. We have 55 food, 43 iron, 25 stone, and 154 gold. That's obviously coming from the builder there compared to 138 gold for Rome, only 30 food, only 29 iron, and negative zero point 0.5 stone. So, as you would expect with having a builder on the throne, getting those workers out super fast, you really have a strong ramp up in economy here. That things are looking great for a strong foundation for Persia. It'll be interesting to see how Rome is able to kind of catch up in terms of momentum and or punish Persia with maybe a military expansion of really leveraging the fact that Spoked Wheel is coming online or has already just come online.
Indeed, indeed. Some tough choices. Persia is going for the free settler. They are continuing to clear the Vandal spot at the moment. Um, Additional workers are coming fast and quick. I hope it doesn't get trapped. I do sometimes when I have a builder on the throne get too tempted by the extra cheap workers. Well, cheap and fast. Uh, but yeah, he's building a solid economy. I would say on quite a few metrics he has an advantage. The order production is expected, but on resources in general and general land improvement, I'd say is better advanced. The science is a little bit lagging, and it will start to tell at one point. So depending on Rome, if Rome moves forward and tries to use this early spoked wheel, that might well decide all the early parts of the game play out in the end.
Also, we do have a good amount of that income coming from the slavery law. I missed that Persia did decide to adopt slavery now rather than waiting for the pyramids to finish.
I suppose it makes some sense. They got a nice amount of civics out of the of founding statesmen, so of course it would be more efficient to wait for the pyramids to complete. But it supplements his economy. He's making the call that it doesn't really need the freedom growth, or not as much, because his leader is affable and quite a bit of what you would use growth for in the early game is workers, and he gets an additional bonus on that. So it's I definitely understand the pick. It makes some sense to me, at least, even if, well, I guess freedom and slavery are both pretty good. It falls to preferences, and with 4 cities, it's already getting decent value out of it. Settlers keeps on progressing. Another camp cleared on the Rome side, so we have 4 free camps to be settled at the moment. Moving one wire back for healing, which I'm not sure I agree with. I think there was a hero leader assigned there, who I assume died, but he has another hero to assign, which is pretty good in terms of order efficiency when you have your units out in the wild clearing camps. Maybe he missed that. Maybe he has other plans for the wire. I'm not quite sure. Um, but yeah, he's been way more active on the map to clear barbarians.
Rome does have a massive advantage with scouting and visibility now. He took that second scout that he built early and sent it all the way to the southeast corner. So he has eyes on 2 different Persian cities at this point, as well as cleared that southern pass as well.
Indeed, that's unexpected for me to see Rome outscouting Persia with an early rider found and their order economy, which typically gives a bit more flexibility to move scouts around and explore. And he's keeping it focused as well. I suppose he could explore a little bit more, but he's keeping an eye on his opponent quite closely with positioning on the forests adjacent to the cities. So pretty solid player, I would say. Very good scouting and map awareness on Rome's part.
Definitely seems like Persia is prioritizing continuing to harvest with his scouts. If you look at the general region that each scout is in, you'll see a lot of harvested resources tiles. So they're probably prioritizing harvest to help boost that economy and keep their development running rather than clear for map vision.
Good pick. So for chat, because I'm not sharing any camera, I'm nodding while Sion is talking. But yes, indeed, harvesting can be very valuable. I'm not sure if he's getting the full value this far north, but it's still valuable to get to supplement his economy. He's been able to just buy wonders, and I think that was right play, and it's positioning him strongly. So yeah, nothing to say there. Good play. It's a bit unfortunate that he didn't clear out the Vandal camp in one go. He decided to go back and heal, possibly to deal with a raid or expecting one to come from the north. But he's actually with pleased relation with Thracians, so inevitably there will still be a raid. But yeah, I think the focus should still be on clearing additional sites. He has a settler coming out of his capital with no spot next turn. A second one coming out from the drama card the turn after, and I would like to see slightly more priority in clearing that camp. But yeah, surely he's aware and will have plans to compensate.
It would be interesting to see if Persia would choose to influence the Thracian leader, because if you can get friendly opinion with a tribe, you still have the possibility of securing a tribal alliance, and that could be a really good boon in terms of expanding north.
Yeah, I haven't checked yet. We got so the Thracians so pleased. I assume marriage, but I don't know. On the Roman side, though, the tactician died. The early leader, and we have the heir on the throne, and we are going to continue with the science advantage because that's a scholar, and the 6 wisdom scholar, no less. So that will keep up. Just as global output, it's close to 10 research already, so that will be very valuable, I expect. On the other hand, it just lost his tactician, which will blunt his advance a little bit, but he's made good use of it. So definitely the tactician was able to provide good value, even if his leader died earlier than his opponents.
Yes, indeed. That's a lot of good base science there, plus 9.6. His science did drop a little bit, though, but it's still good, and now he can choose directly where he wants to go in the tree. So I think the tactician certainly did its job. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 empty city sites for Rome to expand to, three settlers coming on the way already. So the tactician in the first 30 turns certainly did what you want the type of tactician play to do, if at least if you're not rushing your opponent. So swapping to a scholarship now is actually not bad at all.
I agree, solid play. We'll have to catch up a little bit in legitimacy. Of course, the leader test doesn't help with that. So at the moment, they are 58 uh, to 78, which of course emphasizes the discrepancy in order production between our players. And I will have to switch perspective to be able to show the ranking while understanding what I'm doing. But yes, order production, we are seeing on this turn 18 orders versus 12, and that's a significant discrepancy. That's plus 50%. So so it's doing more and accelerating on the economic side on Persia. And of course, he already has nabbed 2 wonders, secured 2 wonders, started them at least, and his economy is very good, but is also very tall. And at one point, having a city advantage, which is a bit delayed by the delayed settler protection, but it will come very suddenly. I would love to see our Roman player attempting to start an Ishtar Gate to coincide with those cities settling for an extra boost. But yeah, that's they are going in different direction, which is very interesting to see, and will make for an exciting match, I'm sure. I cannot wait to see how that plays out. There's 4 legacies on the Roman side. So on the one hand, it looks like 20 legitimacy that are lost opportunities. On the other hand, any that he completes will go on his current leader and might help boost him in terms of legitimacy and direct cognomen on that leader. We'll see what that does. 6 pastures, 4 miners, tyranny, promote unit 10 times. I suppose the promotions should be somewhat easier, but he still has a ways to go to complete any of those legacies at the moment.
Indeed, he's definitely on the clock there. That is not something you want to see. I always get a little nervous, especially when a starting leader accepting too many ambitions, because you can end up in the exact same spot where you have 4 active ambitions, not nearly finishing any of them, and you now only have 20 turns to do it. And then the other problem that can create is that any incoming ambitions that you have for your current leader are actually going to be much higher in their tier, because the way it's distributed is going to factor in how many active ambitions you have. So the next ambition that he gets offered might not even be something that he has access to even do right now.
Yes, indeed. So, ambition discipline, we often talk about that on stream and on the Discord, and that's maybe not one of the easier play to grasp as a new player, but knowing when to say no, when not to pick an ambition is very important to ambition management. It's very important for legitimacy management, for cognomen, everything related to well, to legitimacy in the end. So an important thing to know. And sometimes, even if something looks um, achievable in isolation, you have to think of what other commitments you already took. It was a bit greedy to go for 4 ambitions early. Persia has picked only a single one, but they are well on their way to completing it, and they will not have legacy. So of course it's a bit unfortunate losing a leader slightly early, before at 43 of age, I imagine. So he didn't expect them to die so early, I imagine. But still, you find yourself in a bind when you have 3 achievable goals to complete, but they are competing against each other, and some big orientation in your tech tree. You kind of have to go for tyranny now. Maybe that's not what you planned. You can hope for an event, but it's a bit of a Hail Mary play.
Looking at Rome now, it seems like he's just kind of content to be at his expanded limit for now. It doesn't seem like he's got moving a warrior down south to kind of meet up with that slinger. So maybe he'll start thinking about making a play for the center of the map. He has just promoted his slinger down there. He's also running around securing the rest of the pastures. Once he gets his horses online in the capital, he's almost just in perfect time to be finishing a settler there. So I would not be surprised if we go straight to seeing horses come out.
Indeed, indeed, very good point. I know that the slinger, so that's a recent change, is still hidden because it hasn't moved, even if he's a tactician instead. So I think that's extra incentive not to move for the slinger, so he might not find out too much. The Numidians in the center, the south center of the map, are raiding, and apparently they are raiding Rome, so a bit unfortunate there. The slinger will have to, well, I assume, go back to avoid fighting in the forest. Uh, but uh, but yeah, it's good to keep an eye on both direction. His main units are holding down side for the settlers at the moment. But yeah, yeah, solid play in general. It would be challenging to complete everything. He's a bit tied with his pattern seat, I imagine, into improving pearls and dice because that's a new ambition and should be doable. But he's picked missions for most of his workers and tech paths and improvements with his pick of ambitions. And for miner, I would say is not very reasonable. You don't really want to get rural specialists without resources unless you are landowners. So in this case, there's a lot of ore, but he still has to settle this spot. So it will still be a bit challenging to sort out his legacy situation. And I have a question from chat asking why there are stupid Russian names like river and vodka on a full English map. This is not a full English map. We are seeing when we are watching the Persian viewpoint the game in Russian because the player is Russian and is playing on Russian level. Well, I don't know if they're Russian, but they are playing with Russian language, and players can assign names to landmarks when they are finding them first. And I assume I do not understand Russian, so I cannot read it myself and find out about it. That the player renamed the map element, the landmarks, as river or vodka or anything, making a joke. So this is an inside joke for people who can read Russian, but this is the player doing. This is not the game assigning such names. We have lists of culturally tied names for each nation to be able to give names to various landmarks from plains to forests to river to mountains to bays and seas that should be decently appropriate for the region. Uh, but I don't know Russian and I cannot even interpret that to understand it, but that's what you are seeing at the moment.
Yeah, I can spot it here. What's interesting, if you are happen to be on the Roman perspective, what we'll see is the unnamed regular landmarks that the game adopted
Mm-hmm.
will be in the correct language. However, we can still see Russian even over
Indeed.
in the Roman perspective for all of the potential landmarks that Droner must have named himself. So I suspect he is going for some cheeky naming conventions for his own entertainment or the entertainment of the viewers.
Indeed, we can see the Rubicon River on the Persian side, interestingly. So I assume that this is the name he gave it. That we can find a drama plane up north, Lake Bolbe. I don't know if that's original, and the river is certainly from the game itself. Yeah, interesting. So I cannot catch the whole play with the landmark renaming, but interesting remark. I didn't anticipate the interplay of the localization, player language, and all that, but uh, it's yeah. But we are at the mercy of the humor of the players, I'm afraid. So. Uh,
I am curious to see there is very little progress on clearing on Persia's side. I haven't been completely tracking exactly what he's choosing to do with his orders each turn, but it seems like it's just full on development. He has moved a
Yes.
settler down south towards the Barb camp, but of course that camp is not cleared yet. So, and he does have a raid coming in, several at least, two raids coming in from the north. So he probably is concerned with that.
Yeah, indeed, and well, he's moved his units up at his statesman seat, but too early to deal with the raids. So they will be busy doing that, but he kind of missed the opportunity to clear the Vandal sites in the middle. His units could have been doing that, and indeed, he moved the settler south with a single unit on hand, which is not enough anymore to clear a barbarian camp that hasn't taken casualties yet from the beginning of the game. So there are 3 warriors there. They are not yet full-on marauders and haven't gained strength, but still that will delay additional expansion, and the site is quite valuable. 2 pastures and barley tile, a further pasture in range, extra orders, extra food, extra growth, extra everything. So a bit of a delay indeed. So huge toll development, but I feel he's falling in the bit of the trap that happens sometimes. You have a builder leader, workers are cheap, you can use more to build. So he's getting quite a good value out of that, but at the cost of slower expansion and and slower clearing of barbarians. So indeed, good point about that. I'm slightly worried about a bit too passive play. I would say. I hope it's not too harsh a critique regarding tribes and barbarian management.
Yes, indeed, because what we will have in just a moment, once it's Moroten's next turn, we will see a burst of expansion because I suspect the settler from the capital and the settler from the statesman seat will both reach their destinations on this turn and likely settle a new city.
Indeed, and let me check if I can do that with the UI. I don't know. I would like to see how much a niche target would cost for our Roman friend. Well, 3,000. So okay, it's fair to say it's too far from being reached, but that would combine very well with his quicker expansion. So if he can save up a little bit of iron, maybe acquire a bit of stone and save up his money, he now has 4 discipline, so he's getting very good income. He might be able to make a play for it and compensate a bit for the victory points due to earlier wonders on the Persian side. Indeed, I see Cyan asking in chat if the sound and the audio is okay. Are you hearing Cyan fine? In particular?
All right, it looks like Rome has opted to go claim that iron site, but he did settle a second statement site down in the south. And that's nice to have those combined borders right next to each other because those workers from either city will be able to cross borders, improve easily. And also, if you, for any reason, want to swap tiles between bordering cities, if you don't have like families, you'll suffer a opinion penalty, but since these borders match, you can customize the border a little bit by selling tiles from one city to another.
Absolutely, and of course, since that was a statesman settler as well, because of that city proximity, that's a free citizen on top if he wants to use that. He will have, well, I assume he's going to found a champion city on the horse spot guarding the pass, and that will be an extra citizens as well. So so it's syncing up quite nicely for Rome. Um Catching up on expansion, getting a few extra perk with family cities proximity, with nabbing a few free citizens from having the right settler in the right spot. So a solid play, I would say, on the Roman side. I hope he can manage his legacies. The pasture is are almost guaranteed. There's one completing next turn, two completing next turn, and another one in 2 turns. So that one is done. The minor specialist will be slightly hard to acquire, but the champion city will have 2 citizens. So if he works on that first and invests in longer term development, he can get 2 excellent miners with the ore tiles. So he might still be able to do it, but if Persia was up to any form of perturbation, that might be more difficult. Of course, we know Persia is not really about to challenge Rome directly. They are focused on their own development and trying to catch up in expansion and currently handling raiders. But yeah, interesting play in Rome, adapting well to being left alone. Actually, Rome is quite aware that Persia is not threatening. They have scouts on both sides, as you noted earlier, and that's still true. They are keeping tabs quite closely on everything Droner is doing on the Persian side.
Yeah, and I suspect that Persia might think that they have a little bit more time on momentum than they actually do, because while they're well developed in terms of expansion, I mean, in terms of their economy, in terms of expansion, they don't actually have vision on Rome. So they probably, for the last several turns, were thinking, well, hey, I already have 4 cities. Rome's still sitting on 3 cities, so I have time to build up until I, have to worry about Rome catching up to me, right? Without knowing that they actually are sitting on 6, open city sites with a bunch of settlers on the way.
And indeed, compounding on what you remarked upon earlier, with scouts being positioned more to harvest than to scout, which is fine to a degree, but you still want to keep tabs on your opponent. You should grab additional scouts if you want to get all of that. And both scouts have moved back. The southern one, which was close to the Statesman Sin border, and the Roman expansion, has moved back to the middle of the map, and the other one has got closer as well to his spots, harvesting horses and resources on the way, but still his visibility has actually degraded since the beginning of the game. So sure, he has the Oracle, but until he gets to Portcullis, which is very far yet, he won't be able to use that to gain additional insight.
If you look at the timeline from Droner's perspective, you will see exactly how much of the map he has cleared so far in terms of Fog of War. And yeah, it's not as much as Rome.
Yeah, excellent tool. I didn't realize I could check what had been explored there, so thank you very much for the tip there. And indeed, that's very telling. So he knows there's an island in the middle. He has decent visibility. He has decent exploration, I should say, up to close to the Roman border in the south, but he's completely blind up north. And as for his current visibility, of course, having moved his scouts back, uh, he's very much ignoring what Rome is doing at the moment, which might be fine, but still, it's not usually the best play. You should try to keep tab on your opponents. Movements can be quick in the old world, and identifying opportunities to for anything is very important, and you need vision to do that.
Indeed, definitely in this type of arena when it's head to head, one on one, and it's a smaller map, you can get across the map quickly, or you can really disrupt your opponent's plans. Scouting really can make or break a game. You can lose simply from not having a sense of what your opponent's trying to do.
Indeed, and in this context in particular, with an inland sea, I would like to keep tabs on my opponent closely to identify as soon as there is a navigation play. So you can expect to have some knowledge about that even without seeing your opponent, because it's pretty rare that someone will take navigation and not adopt serfdom or colonies. Both are pretty good laws. Serfdom in particular in duels can be critical. You definitely want to keep an eye on that and know when your opponent is adopting it. So you'll have some indirect evidence of such a potential threat, but it's good to keep tab on at least the army if you can find it, and such potential quick plays with naval movement in particular. I want to mention that I think I understand why Moroten in Rome is going for improving the die in his patron seat first, because he took an ambition to send die and pearls to tribes. So I'm not sure on tribes it's that valuable anyway, but I assume that's what it's going for. But with a patron seat with 4 pearls, I can maybe understand the quarry, but I would definitely have improved the 4 pearls before anything else in most scenarios, just to get that culture bonus going and start the ball. So I think it's a bit of a priority error to get the marble quarry and the pasture and the dice first. I get that there are ambitions, but still, not using the pearls as early as you can in a patron seat is it feels bad.
Indeed, because let's not forget that as you level up your culture, you also get access to events each time. So really getting yourself to developing and then strong can give you two opportunities to get a boost, even outside of the fact that the city will overall have better access to governors. If you have things like intelligent, obviously that will make the governor better. And there's just so much value to ramping up that culture, especially in a patron seat, because that 3 discontent is about to drop down to 1 once it levels up. And the closer you get, or the faster, I should say, that you get to your culture levels as patrons, the more likely you're going to retain yourself at 0 discontent in that city almost for the entire game as you start working to bring down the rate of discontent in the city itself.
Indeed, I find myself in agreement with my co-commentator. That feels like a bit of a lost opportunity, a missed one. I understand there are many competing priorities, and his first leader, founder, dying so early was probably unexpected, and it's always a blow when it happens, especially in duel, and it's not happening to your opponent. I note, right, this is a side thing, but it amuses me that the Roman scout that was keeping tab on the rider seat on Persian side was kicked twice from its forest tile and is now perfectly positioned and hidden forever. Right at the intersection of both cities, and getting the absolute best visibility he could get without being in their territory, and all that without a skimmer leader. So that's an awesomely positioned scout. A bit of luck there, or coincidence, but it's funny to note nevertheless. And yeah, we see the push for walkers on the Roman side. Of course, he didn't have the leg up of an affable builder early to get everything cranking, but the 2 settlers have settled now. An extra one is on its way, so that should be quite able to compensate for that initial start. And it feels indeed, I echo what chat is doing, that Persia is a bit over investing in their tool development. But on the other hand, if Moroten doesn't punish them, doesn't move to do that, it might pay out in the end. They are just completing the pyramids, I believe. Uh, Yes, sorry this turn, I'm still a bit clunky with changing perspective. So they will be able to adopt further laws quicker, but their science is lagging. They don't have an opportunity to adopt additional laws at the moment, so they will still have to extract the value out of that early wonder, besides the victory points themselves. He has a huge bank though. He could certainly nab the ziggurat on top at the moment, or at least he's not too far from doing it. So he might put pressure in terms of victory point. But I'm not sure it's that good an idea, because at the moment his army is lagging behind slightly, I believe. Well, not quite. He's still similar, so he's maybe not aware. He still has to contend with the potential for huge military production from Rome, and his units are not super active. They are waiting for the raiders rather than clearing out camps at the moment. There is an additional raid coming as it could be expected from the Vandal side as well. So he will have his hand busy just to keep what he has at the moment, and I think he should take a more proactive stance toward those threats.
Indeed, it's very frustrating to see the settlers standing around just kind of waiting. You have a Persia who has 20 orders per turn, and we have very little movement on any of their units. We finally do see down here in the south that the warriors have moved up to start clearing out that barbarian camp, and I think that's the right thing to focus on right now because you really just don't want to fall in momentum. He is aware that he is naive to Rome, so he does have a strong economy. He does have those wonders. Things are looking fine development wise, but he knows he's up against a scholar. He knows that his previous ruler, Rome's previous ruler, was a tactician. So there's been a science advantage for quite some time now, and that scholar can go wherever it wants in the tech tree. So you want to not fall behind in development momentum.
Indeed, it feels like a bit of a missed opportunity that he has about a third more orders than Rome at the moment, uh, but he's behind in, let's say, map activity, be it scouting, keeping tabs, keeping vision, clearing camps, and yeah, despite his direct economy focus and I would guess superiority, we'll check the stat in a second. The science lag is unrelenting. It's been going on from the early game. It's not a huge disparity yet. It could be fixed, but still, the accumulated advantage is only growing at the moment. So even if he gets his science on top, he will still have to go beyond to fill the gap that's been accumulated in his first 30 something turns of the game.
One thing I'm curious, I wonder if Droner is beginning to struggle with the timer. They are on strict rather than tight. I definitely recommend for players who are not used to playing with a timer in the network games, keep in mind there is no undo, so there will be a time pressure even if you're on a slower timer. So I definitely recommend using tight turnstile instead of strict. That will allow you to make decisions like build queues or move workers on your turn or other things rather than military units. And the reason I mention that is because the turn passed to Rome from Persia with him running with Droner running out of time, and he still has 4 orders left. So it's definitely possible he could be struggling with the timer, and that could be one of the things delaying his ability to expand.
Indeed, we've seen him struggle a bit earlier, so I did recommend tight. I'm saying it because I feel guilty that probably I didn't insist enough on it. But the big difference between a strict turn time is strict is exactly what it sounds like. You can only do anything on your turn when it's your turn, including changing your research, changing the build in your cities, anything. While on tight, you can not do military moves, so it solves the problem of parity, who goes first, no double attack in combat, but you can use your civilian units. You can still change your builds in your city. You can resolve your events, pick your research, a variety of actions that allows you to use part of your opponent's turn to do something which feels better because you can still do things. You're not just waiting and thinking while your opponent is playing. It also accelerates the game a little bit and it makes the timer easier to manage. So I'm totally with science recommendation there. I will insist upon it in the threads and the forum post about the tournament. But unless you really are sure strict is what you want to do, I would recommend tight as a turnstile.
Indeed. It looks like Rome is finally going for chariots in from their capital. 3 turns on that. They have 27 training, so that's going to be a solid amount of output for their chariot coming online. It's only 80 training to produce a chariot, and they're making 27 per turn.
Indeed, excellent point, and thank you for reminding me to move around. Sometimes I have a hard time when I'm in talking mode, trying to improve. I apologize for that, and I will try to look around a bit more. All right. Moroten is starting to work on the pearls. The city is developing no matter what. Even a single pair of nets is already enough to move reasonably quickly with a patron seat. Well, a patron city in general, but really, if you're getting 4 precious resources, you don't want to just keep up. You want to blow the competition away, and that's definitely possible. Uh, a bit missed for now, but we'll see what happens with that. He's moved a warrior in the south to occupy the forest, supplement his slinger, who's been doing a good job holding the fort so far. No tiles pillaged. I don't believe there's been much attacks on the city, so just the right amount of units to hold that. Chariot in return is fearsome indeed. We'll see what comes with that. He's going for aristocracy, which will help him consolidate his science lead. Interestingly, he's assigned his leader, his scholar leader, to Brixia in the south. So I'm not quite sure what's the reason. The only one I really see is inspiring, but getting 2 culture instead of getting 3 culture instead of 1 from the trait in the city doesn't sound obviously worth it to me. So I'm not sure if there was something else at play, maybe an event or time pressure. Uh,
I wouldn't be
yeah, I don't know.
surprised if we have another situation where you have a player who's trying to take advantage of that extra 2 growth just to take 1 turn off of that worker. I'm not sure that I would spend the 100 civics on that every time or in every situation, but I can definitely see that being the idea behind saying, hey, I have my ruler here, and why don't I just toss him in to ramp up the growth real quick? He's not really sacrificing too much science. Well, I suppose, yeah, 2 science versus 1.5 in the capital. Um, or sorry, 2 science in the capital versus zero point 0.5 in Brixius. So he is sacrificing some science, but maybe that at least was the thinking behind the ruler in Brixia.
Yeah, indeed. You quote on that. It makes a bit more sense to me now. And to be fair, he already had a governor in his capital, so maybe he didn't want to waste those 100 civics. It could make sense that the diplomat is still valuable in its way. It's helping push specialist. It's giving the opinion bonus from having a diplomat governor. So it makes sense in that way. I'm looking at the Persian viewpoint at the moment. It's a bit sad to see a slipped settler that's waiting for something to happen uh, toward the north between his cities, and another one that's slept as well that's waiting for the situation to unlock. So I'm sure there is some timer pressure. He lost a unit as well to Barbarian there, so there will be further delay. I don't know that he can clear even with the warrior that's sitting in
Oh, that is
the
not.
leader seat, but it's tough.
Yeah, that's not great. That's not tough. I mean, that's tough. It looks like he's trying to do 2 different things at once. He has his units in the north. He is now at war with Thrace, and I think we're seeing a little bit of a lack of focus here in terms of the progress. Losing a unit to a barbarian is just not the greatest feeling in the world, especially when you have several units in the area.
Indeed, and I'm messing up my my keys. Sorry. We see a settler moving north for Rome as we expected. The cleared sites are there. It's a bit unlucky maybe, but the island. No, okay. The Vandal raiders. From the spot close to Persia are actually raiding Rome, so it will make
Wow.
his life easier in the end. So unexpected, but I didn't think they would be in range, but that's happening at the moment. So we'll have to see. Uh,
Indeed, that is quite the journey that those vandals are going to take.
Yeah, checking his perspective is actually at truce with the Vandals now. So no, I understand that's what's going on. He decided to take the truce when he had an opportunity. He was in the middle of clearing the units at that point. I wouldn't say that I agree with that choice, but at the moment, since he's at truce, they preferred raiding Rome, and if the island spot does that as well, it will tie down some units on that side. I assume there's timer pressure, forcing error on Droner on the Persian side. It's a bit unfortunate that we are seeing four walkers walking at the same time in his
Perhaps
city. He has a builder, he has many walkers. He could use the hunter ones to speed up the work on the statesman one and avoid the penalty for having a walker of the wrong family. Very slight inaccuracy there. I wouldn't say misplay. It's also a bit more efficient to not use the builder ability, but so that would remark on it. He's going for poets, so trying to ramp up his culture and research, I assume, with some urban specialists, so he might yet catch up in that department.
we did have our first kill from one player to another in the match down in the south by Nita in Rome. Persia left a scout exposed, and Rome was able to grab it with both the warrior and the slinger. So we have
Oh.
Rome taking first blood in the match.
First blood, well done indeed, and for everyone who think it's not worth moving a military unit to kill a scout, you'll never understand how painful it is to lose a scout until it happens to you. So it might feel a bit wasted sometime to harass a walker or a scout, but losing even a walker or a scout is actually quite a penalty. There is a drawback to exposing them. So yeah, I suspect, as you diagnosed, Droner is having turn timer issues because there's plenty of forest around. I don't think. I think he knows that he should keep his scouts on forest if he has a choice. It was a good move to move toward the Roman borders and keep an eye on them, but it's very unfortunate that he lost his scouts and got punished for it.
Yeah, no, indeed. We've discussed more than once the discrepancy in vision between both players, with Persia having the disadvantage, of course. And so having Rome be able to spot the scout and take it out as soon as Persia finally made it clear to the borders to get some sense of what's going on is definitely a blow to for Persia.
Yeah, indeed. On the good side of things, as three warriors in the south clearing out this barbarian camp, so he will be able to settle that spot. It's unfortunate that he lost a warrior for it, and it's more unfortunate even that he had to delay it so much. But at long last, that is we are getting closure here. This city will get settled soon. Uh, he has a huge amount of money with which he's not doing that much. So if he's going to double down on economy, I would rather have him use fewer workers, but get the ziggurat, get the additional victory points. You can spot boot the culture of your capital. It will not be that simple to get it ramped up, and use most of your workers on your warriors to catch up on your expansion, your camp clearing. Uh, that well, at least that would be my recommendation. It's always uncomfortable giving unsolicited feedback, but but I think in this case, sure, Wonders buying will be cheaper with all the quarries, but uh, accelerating that a little bit less and making good use of your six discipline to just outright buy the stones you don't have yet is a perfectly legit play as well.
All right, we have a chariot out of Rome now. It's coming down to the south and gonna deal with the raid down there. And it looks like he's going for another settler. So we have one settler in being built in Rome to continue expanding. He still has two free sites. So the momentum is swinging rapidly in the favor of Rome because Persia is still working on this barbarian camp down south.
Indeed, he has an uneasy truce and peace even with the Scythians in the north. So they still don't like him, but they had to accept the truce, the peace. So he's secure from raids from that spot. So I'm not sure if he wants to settle up north or now that he has 3 units on hand to deal with the Numidian camp that was emptied of raiders, but the raid is just dealt with, he might be going for this spot in the south and the shorter road toward Persia. We have to keep in mind that
Persia
he has
has
quite
their
good
northern
vision still.
scout.
Sorry.
Persia had the northern scout getting damage put onto it. I would really hate to see him to lose a second scout. That's a pretty big advantage that Persia can start by having riders to end up having both scouts get taken out of the play, while Rome happens to have 2 scouts with eyes on Persia would just be really unfortunate. So hopefully he'll spot that scout's damage and tuck him into the woods at some point.
Yeah, I suspect his playing is well, no, all right, I'm wrong there. I was thinking that maybe he was playing his workers first, but no, we can see that he has attacked with 2 warriors in the north, with all 3 in the south. He is prioritized killing the fresh unit out of the camp rather than clearing the camp, stopping the counter and settling. I don't know that I agree with that, but he's been active with his units and starting to resolve the issue, so that's important. Unfortunately, there is a marauder that is in the forest and that will threaten soon, so I hope this city gets finally settled soon. And in the north his warriors are efficient, but this scout is going to die unless he hides it, so he's barely in time to move it up north with his remaining orders. I hope he will.
It's entirely possible that not every player is aware of the fact that as you kill units on your way into a tribal camp, that actually increases the spawn timer of additional units. I've even had conversations with players who I know to be very veteran players, both in the game and the multiplayer scene, who, when I brought that up, they were surprised to discover that fact that killing units outside of the camp first will actually increase spawn times from the camp that you're targeting. So he might not be aware of that.
Yes, indeed. So now that you commented upon that, I'm trying to guess which player it is. I have a guess. I will not say it on stream, but yes, clearing camps is a lot more efficient. The speed at which these units spawn depend on how many units they already have, so it slows down naturally. There are a bit of other factors because these will have started as and thanks Alcaraz for confirming my suspicions here. But if you kill units, actually, if you pay attention when you're close to the camp and you can have visibility on this timer as you are doing it, you will see it decrease. It will accelerate the rate of spawning of the camp because it doesn't have its target number of units. So if you have the opportunity to just clear the camp, it's actually way more efficient to clear the camp first. You don't want to lose units for it. You don't want to take more risks than you strictly need, for sure. But it's a legitimate tactical consideration to clear the camp first, then deal with the rabble. The camp also grants defensive ability to the units, so if they get replaced, you will have to fight against that malus more and more, and clearing up any extra units afterward will be way quicker. So a bit of detail. We should probably explain these things a bit more frequently, but indeed an important consideration that the players might not be cognizant of. And I feel a bit bad because I think you are right. There is a timer pressure that is forcing mistakes on our player with the remaining orders close to every turn. I do not know if Moroten or on Rome is facing the same kind of problems. He has spent all his orders for this turn, certainly, and he seems a bit more focused in his play. So I assume he's a bit more familiar or just a bit quicker as a player. Droner has finally cleared the camp in the south, so I expect this city to be settled, and indeed that's what's happening right now. He'll get opportunities for 2 more pasture and a barley farm, so good on that. Expand his vision by the passive vision of tiles in territory. And apparently it's looking at something else, maybe resolving events. I'm sure the events, but I'm not sure what that is. This is marriage for peace, or marriage for something else from a family, peace with the tribe. and angering everyone by refusing everything. Alright, he settled the spot, going for a walker as is natural. It's interesting to note that his 54 leader is still his founder, so the good stats are adding up here. Very good discipline and decent everything else on top. And of course, affable and inspiring are good traits that apply to every city. He's getting another rancher. I haven't checked the religion status, but yeah, no religion founded. There were opportunities for early Zoroastrianism on the Roman side, for early Judaism on the Persian side. He's about to complete his second rancher, I believe. There will be one in the southern spot soon. Oh, but that's the first rancher, sorry. So we're not just about to see Judaism being founded. They will need a little bit more time besides that, but we're getting closer anyway. Wonders, you're asking, Alcaraz? Persia went Oracle first in this spot. So Roman paganism was founded in time, so he will have an agent network in Nida and will benefit from the slightly expanded tech draw. He went for the pyramids later, so he has 4 victory points from Wonders. When he unlocks more laws, he will have the opportunity to adopt them on the cheap, but he's been spending his civics quite diligently, so it's not like he has a huge bank to unload on once, and he hasn't unlocked more than 1 law opportunity for now. Let's have a look at the tech tree. So there are definitely opportunities for additional laws with navigation, aristocracy, rhetoric that are in range, but none of these are unlocked yet, and he picked police as his next tech, and I'm afraid I'm not able to explain what he left on the table in the last tech draw, at least not reading in Russian, but he had the opportunity to pick navigation, which opens up a law and is a very strong blow and tech in general, especially on an inland sea map. It's not like the bireams are a byproduct and only the laws are good. Everything's good there on this map. He could have gone phalanx. He doesn't know, I believe, but I will check that Rome has gone for spoked wheel and mounted units, but phalanx and spearmen are valuable. Chariots for the traditional mounted units play with Persia, but he opted for police. I expect because it's cheaper, but navigation would be a good grab on this map, and I'll have a look at where Rome stands with a little bit of an advantage already. No other wonders have been started for now. And looking at Rome's viewpoint, we are seeing the continued ramp up of this patron spot. Last Pearl Net in easy reach is getting worked on. The southern city is going for a slow inquiry. I'm not well, for an inquiry with his leader, not that slow, but it's an inquiry one. So right, we might talk about that. And anyway, as Sion was mentioning, it's also good to assign your wisdom somewhere, and your charisma benefit from the inspiring trait. And he was looking for some growth, so the bonus from the leader made sense. Alright, he redirected his chariot and his slingers north, keeping only a warrior in the forest to hold the Numidians, but he's not making a play toward the center of the map and getting closer to Persia. So they settled almost exactly symmetrically, not exactly 1 tile further south for Persia, but it's looking standoffish with Numidians in the middle in the south.
Well, Rome has a bit of a raiding issue coming in from the coast. It would seem that with almost pitch perfect timing, this middle island Vandal site raiders happen to join the ones that came from clear across the map. So this is going to be a 4-unit raid coming in on Capua with no units in sight. So that's probably where the chariot and the slinger are headed.
Indeed, very good catch. There is a raider sync up here with a raid from the island and a raid from the other side of the sea syncing up. So he will have to keep busy. And yes, correct. This is the military movement doesn't necessarily need his redirecting north, but he has to deal with the raids.
Ooh,
Uh,
we also have another raid from the Scythians
yeah,
in the
indeed.
north. 3 units.
So he was at an unpleased peace. Yeah, okay, I don't know what's happening. I'm looking at the Roman viewpoint. I'm seeing that he's still at peace with the Scythians, even if there's no love between them. They are upset, but at peace. But he's still getting a raid. So I'm actually wondering now. No, they are Scythian. They are not like yeah, and there's no distant raid in competitive mode. So okay, I'm not sure what happened. But normally, having peace with a tribe should make you immune from raids from their side. So I don't know if there's an update I have slept on. Um, but yeah,
Very likely
unfortunate.
an event. Very likely an event.
All right, I'll take your word for it. I'm playing no events these days on my side, so I'm not always aware. But yes, there are a few events triggering raid. It's unfortunate though that he's getting raided despite peace. He's equipped to deal with it, but he will have his hand full and will not be able to stay as active as he's been so far, which is a bit of a break for Persia. And Persia moved in to start to deal with the raiders and with the Thracians up north, but of course now he's facing strength 5 units, or at least a few of them, and it makes things a bit slower.
So just a quick air check. The builder who started the game for Persia is on the throne. He did have a 5 or 6 wisdom scholar that was in air, but a few turns back she got ill, and it does look like that she happened to die. So now we have his grandchild. Oh, or maybe, interesting, that the ruler is still alive.
Yeah,
What's happening there?
it still is founder, but indeed, looking at the royal screen with succession, we can see that you are absolutely correct. You are remembering this
Oh,
right.
yes, no, sorry.
He had a 5 wisdom minus 3 charisma scholar before who indeed died, and it's
Yep.
his granddaughter that we see as the next in line.
Yep, so that's a bit of a blow there. You probably were hoping to get some extra science boost and the ability to, direct where you're going. That would combo famously with the Oracle having those 5 draws and the ability to redraw if you had a scholar on the throne. So it's a bit unfortunate that that heir died. For Rome, we are looking at a child who's not yet in education yet. And let's see anybody else in the throne. No, a commander who we would never want to take the throne. It's a -5 wisdom commander in that royal family.
Oh, I haven't seen the royal in the. You mean on the Persian side? I'm getting lost because I was in the wrong
Roman
timing.
side.
Yeah, on the Roman side. All right, I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing the princess you mentioned and the other characters. I'm not sure. He has 2 spouses. Interestingly, an intolerant Numidian zealot and a cruel builder, but a robust one was pleased. So interesting play there. He's still keeping excellent tabs on the position of the Persian unit, in particular with his scout in the north, who can directly see 3 of the units and notably see so others move out. And in the south, in the same way, he's still keeping a good eye on city settling and what the barbarians and un-Persians are doing. So he's maintaining this vision advantage. Of course, he also denied vision, but it's a bit worrying for the Persian situation at the moment on that front. It feels like he might be playing blind a little bit.
The queen's brother is imprisoned, by the way. That's why we can't see him in the
Ah,
secession tab.
yeah. Thank you for clearing that out. I didn't want to just like look randomly around to find them. But yeah, good explanation, and I understand why they are in prison with -5 discipline. They are probably a bit hard to work with, let's say. Um, All right, Persian turn. I'm trying to sync up again with the player's turn with a few points. Still
Does
more
look like he
workers.
lost that scout.
Oh,
Yeah, it does look like he lost a scout in the north, but he's making progress in clearing the Thracian camp right now. Still making progress building uh, up his empire with his workers and whatnot. But actually, I'm going to take a second and try and check the improvement difference between each side. Uh, we have 36 improvements for Persia and 22 for Rome. So thankfully, he is taking advantage of that worker, advantage. He is taking advantage of the fact that he's a builder. But interestingly enough, we have 8 workers, so 9 total because they both start with one for Persia and only 5 for Rome. So even though Rome has significantly more territory at this point, Persia still has more potential for overall development.
yeah, I'm still a little bit worried for Persia. So he's playing at the moment. He positioned while he played his military units in the north, and he could potentially lose a warrior. So we've been touching the tribe and raiders AI recently. So, but I expect they will coordinate, and he's going to lose a warrior. So he'll still be able to clear the camp in time, but that's a bit unfortunate. We'll have to see what happens when the Thracians play their turn, but if that happens, that will be painful. Losing a unit and 2 scouts uh, is a tough blow. Um, is
Yeah, it
one.
is a bit concerning to see what's going on with Droner's progress clearing. It makes me very concerned for what we could see if a war breaks out between him and Rome, if what the tactics are going to look like between him and Rome, because he's losing units to barbarians. His warriors in the north are very low health. I don't know how confident he is of a tactician on the battlefield. Obviously, I don't know him that well. I don't know his experience level or anything like that. So, but what we're seeing here would be something to watch for once Rome and Persia come to blows, because if Rome is a strong tactician on the battlefield, this could be very devastating for
Yes,
Persia.
yes, indeed, I agree. It could be. Well, I don't know the players either, and they might be a bit trigger shy and just stand off and develop in their on their own side, both of them. But at the moment, if a chariot was finding out what was coming to this situation in the north, all those warriors are hurt enough that they are even threatened by the barbarians. There could be some very devastating routes, even with a few units on hand, and that's concerning. Uh, I understand he's working on poets to get some urban specialists and working on his research, but still getting more workers, and he already has a strong worker advantage and the improvement they've made before. And I'm also very worried about the turn. He didn't use 5 of his orders this turn again, so maybe yeah, I will definitely emphasize the recommendation to use tight turn play, and to recommend players to pay attention to their opponents as well, because I'm sure it feels very bad to be in this situation and to be wasting orders as well. So I'm feeling a bit sorry for the setup at the moment. The long age buy didn't help at the setup, I'm sure.
Indeed. Well, you will run into things like that when it comes to first time multiplayer experience. Again, I don't know Droner or if he has lots of experience in multiplayer, but the timer is certainly a pressure, and it gets all of us. I'm an experienced player. I've played multiplayer a handful of times, even network games, and there are tons of games where if you watch some of my streams or the commentaries, where you'll see me wasting 5, 6, even 7 orders because, I'm just sitting there trying to overthink my turn, trying to come up with like the correct plan of what I'm going to do, and all of a sudden I realize, oh crap, I have 10 seconds left and I haven't even done anything yet.
Yes, indeed. But
So
I suspect you are better at spending as much as you can in those last 15 seconds when it's starting to tick. But yeah, yeah, no, definitely it happens. I mean, having wasting some orders or making forced errors because of missing times. So that's fair to say. I just feel slightly bad for Droner because it feels like there is an asymmetry, let's say, in the setup in that way, where he cannot capitalize on one of the key advantages of his nation, and it feels slightly bad. This said, this is going to happen. This is a game, the rules of the game. They could have negotiated or agreed on another turn order. I'm saying that we should insist on recommending a tight turnstile, but that's already the recommendation by default. I'm only talking about insisting upon it, so a bit unfortunate maybe, and it indeed lost a warrior in the north here.
Yes, that is unfortunate. Yes, we did recently update the rules of the tournament to suggest tight as the default turnstile precisely for newcomers or people who are setting up the game for when they're looking at all the different settings. Hopefully that'll instinctively drive them to have tight turnstile on. And of course, for the more experienced players, if they have any preference to insist on the strict turnstile, then of course they can negotiate that amongst themselves. Personally, I actually like the tight turnstile. I like the fact that you can do events and build queues and move workers or scouts or whatever while the other player is doing their stuff. I think it just helps increase the speed of the game that way. I mean, because one of the concerns, obviously, of the network style play is time consumption, right? Not everyone has so many hours to sit down over multiple sessions to play a game. So these are the types of things that we can do to push the game along.
Indeed. So, and here, well, I don't know if he has times banked. He has, and he probably doesn't know about the feature. We really should do a better job as Mohawk, I mean, in this case, to highlight this feature. In this turn, he finished his turn early and didn't quite bank everything. He's moving, I'll note, in the south, his warriors forward toward the Numidians. I would maybe have liked them to be healed before going for the next objective. But it's good that he's taking a more active posture toward the surrounding at the moment.
It is interesting to see that he doesn't seem to be doing I don't want to say good job, but that's the only language I have at the moment. It doesn't seem like he seems to be prioritizing healing his units that much. He's kind of just sending them out into the fray, bashing them into the tribal units, and it looks like he's willing to take losses while he's attempting to achieve his objectives, and that can come back to bite him in the long run.
Indeed, I do tend myself to heal units very frequently and not put too much trust into even slow healing in territory. It can work sometimes, but it's often that at least when using that I found myself with a nasty surprise, an unplanned raid, an opponent saying hello. Fluffy, for instance, is very good as creating those pants down moment. At that point, you find yourself with regrets that you didn't heal earlier, and I think in general it's a good idea, especially with early units, warriors, slingers who are not that strong and will have to take some time and damage to clear out camps and barbarians, raiders, what have you, to heal them first before moving forward. Yeah, about the turnstile, I think tight or loose are some of the more pleasant turnstile to play. I am a masochist myself with timing. I enjoy fast timer and forced mistakes. Maybe you can make a parallel with blitz chess or something like that. But yeah, definitely feel free to negotiate something that's comfortable for you. The point of participating in the tournament is fun first. And if everyone had fun and no one won, that would be a successful tournament in my opinion. So don't punish yourself by abiding by settings you are not comfortable with, I would say, and negotiate with your opponent. If you want to clarify what should be allowed or not, don't hesitate to contact Alcaraz or Siontific or anyone in touch with the tournament organization to mention it. The point is really to have fun. So that's why I'm feeling slightly bad to see orders wasted at the end of turns. Yes, indeed,
Okay.
he's prioritizing assigning generals in the north, so at least a hero will give him an opportunity to heal in the field without having to come back. But still, that Thracian camp is still standing at the moment.
So, a quick tech breakdown between the players. Both players have researched 8 technologies. They both have ironworking, labor force, husbandry, stone cutting, polis, trapping, and divination and administration, while Rome has rhetoric and spoked wheel and aristocracy, whereas Persia only seems to have uh, drama. So I'm guessing the extra two uh, technologies that they've researched were bonus cards, and we do know that he researched the free settler and stone boost. So that's the breakdown there. We have a slight lead with spoked wheel, aristocracy, and rhetoric all on Rome,
Mhm.
while Persia only has a drama advantage.
Indeed, interesting. So drama and the free settler, well, it counts. I mean, and he's used it at least. He has built an Odeon in the theater, another Odeon, a third one, another theater on the go, I believe. Yes, this is a theater, and so he is making use of it, and he's getting the urban specialist boosting his research. So it's definitely not a dud. Still. Uh,
This
at
is
the
the time
moment,
frame we
yeah.
want to see units have it. We want to see players having at least a 5 strength unit. So Rome is ahead on that tempo there. They have the chariots, they have the access to that. And with Persia, we just don't see anything like spears or axes or archers or even horses for themselves. They started husbandry. We don't have that 5th strength power spike coming online, and we're already 50 turns into this game. We're getting close to 50 turns rather. So
Mhm.
we have some momentum to catch up on as Persia.
Indeed, he's going military drill. I don't know. No, he didn't get aristocracy in the end. He clicked on it at one point and changed his mind. So military drill would definitely be valuable, but uh, as Rome is getting to play at the moment, they are going for sovereignty. So they will unlock an additional law. They will open up the civics boost to be able to adopt more. They already have exploration unlocked, so it will be their fourth law. So we could potentially see Astatai on the field in the not too distant future. Rome is prepared with a garrison, so and as a champion city, it will still be able to push unique units in a reasonable time with just the ore miner. So, so this is a bit concerning. I would say I would agree with you there. He's getting a little bit harassed by this Kissian raid in the north, but he's dealt with the Vandal double raid in the center. Sure, he has to repair net, but this is fine. Capua is already making good cultural progress. He's got his Pearl specialist. He's getting his Die specialist. He will be able to complete that ambition. Sovereignty will be in time to enable him to get the legacy for tyranny. The four miners, I don't know if he's given up on it yet. He's just in time with a miner in 5 years, a bit of a sand miner in Rome, and another miner in Novesium. This one on an ore tile. But I don't even know if that works, completing the miner on the turn the legacy expires. I think it does, but I wouldn't bet my own hand on it. So we'll have to see. But
Well,
he
I mean,
might be
it
able to get the old legacies in the end. So that will teach us for doubting.
I would say though, if you're going to build a regular miner in the middle of nowhere, of all the cities that want to have it be in, it's definitely the champion city because it's going to get that 50% boost on the training. So,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, not the end of the world.
Yeah, yeah, good point. It's there's a silver lining. Ideally, I would have liked to see the two miners in Novesium both on ore, which was a possibility, but it's not in time. It's very hard to be in time with how many legacies he was running award with. So that's definitely a very decent workaround and an option to still meet the legacy and gain the five legitimacy instead of losing them. So that's a 10 legitimacy differential, worth it, no doubt. And if you have to do that, definitely the championship is the right place to do it. Yes.
Right, it looks like Persia's momentum has slowed here. They do have the access to go in onto that western or eastern. Oh, here they go. Good, thankfully. They're going into the eastern Thracian camp, and they won't be able to clear it this turn, I believe, but they will be able to get it next turn. And they do have a raid coming in from the second Thracian camp that's going to go towards that statesman city, but they really just need to get this clearing happening. They still are sitting on a settler that they're moving up now towards the site that they'll clear next turn. It's finally, that settler was built possibly 15 or 20 turns ago, give or take. I'm not 100% sure, but it's been definitely sitting around for a long time. So it's really good to see that that's eventually going to find a home next turn.
Yeah, I'm trying to find if I have an inkling of when they were created, the extended tooltip, but I don't understand them in Russian, so I actually can't. Uh, I don't know if the information is here, by the way. I was just wondering. Uh, Alright, we'll have to see what's happening there. And yeah, Earthwalker, this is, yeah, the theater. Pastures completing, so the order economy will continue to ramp up. His 3 warriors should be able to clear the camp, but he might have to move back. Unfortunately for him, the 2 units outside the camp are both melee, so the woods will afford no protection against them. On the other hand, he has a pair of tacticians, so they will sort of help him kill them by attacking the tacticians if he manages to put it forward. So we'll see. He might, in the end up getting the middle point city, right? The center one, despite being way slower in expansion, despite the smaller level of activity he had on the map. So Rome momentum has slowed down as well for different reasons, uh, but still,
He's
they're not
also
so
had
far from one another at the moment.
And Persia also has a second pasture rancher being finished in his rider city down south, so he will be securing Judaism in 2 turns.
Indeed, good point. So this is finally happening. We'll see the first religion founded will be Judaism in the end, as could be expected, but much later than I expected originally. It's not so clear that it would have generated so much value earlier, but decent play. It will help culture, give him additional opportunities later down the line, and on the research side of things, he has been ramping up his situation. The And sorry, I need to switch viewpoints to be able to show that. Um, so yeah, he's parallel with Rome. So there is still an advantage on the Roman side. He hasn't reduced that, but he's making progress. He's not completely outclassed yet. There are a few tech, as you were listing helpfully last turn, of differential between them, but not. He's not blown out of the water yet. Rome is going sovereignty for its laws. There's no immediate risk of getting rushed. So so yeah, he has a chance to catch up maybe.
And
With that,
tyranny for that agenda it will be a good grab, especially on Rome, because with that extra 2 base training in every city, even ignoring the mines he has set up, even ignoring the champion seat, that tyranny is going to amount to an extra 2 training in every single city that he has. That's going to be a sizable increase in his potential military output, especially since he has so many cities.
indeed, these units will still generate money if he wants to catch up on development and focus on other things for a little bit of time. In particular, I will have to heal some of his units to stay there. This will be a hidden bonus of the free militia that will be worth 10 money, just as if it was an actual full-fledged military unit. So yeah, it will be solid. Uh, the legacy completion plus the force law plus the money and the extra training to push his training advantage, that might work out beautifully. So a good thing to say. With that, Cyan, I'm going to ask a favor. I've been streaming for some time and I need a very short break. So I will switch to Persia Vision and I apologize to the chat. I will not move the camera for a few minutes, but I will let you take it away from here for a few minutes. I'll be back very soon.
All right, no problem. So Persia has finally cleared that camp and they've settled this round, which is just a great uh, development for them. They now are on 2, 4, 6 cities. We're looking at 7 on Rome, and Rome still has a free and clear tribal site on their side of the map. So, bit of catching up to do. Definitely some struggling expanding, definitely some struggling managing barbarians on Persia's side. You hate to see it. And wherever Persia is engaging in activity, there is a Roman scout keeping an eye on it down south, which we can't see right now on the stream, but where the 3 warriors are looking to eyeball the Numidian site in the center of the map, Roman scout is sitting directly in between all 3 of those units. And up north, of course, we have the Roman scout that has remained invisible, just keeping an eye on all of the possible movements that can be happening in Persia. And that's a pretty good spot for Rome to be. So basically, I think Rome has a comfortable perspective of what level of control they have over the map. They know they have a tech lead. They know they have an expansive lead. They can see on some level that Persia's struggling or has wounded units, not making progress against camps. And so it will be interesting to see in what way Moroten takes advantage of the current situation and how he chooses to capitalize on it, really. We have some road building happening in Persia. That's good. It's always important to set up your road networks. Both empires are currently not well connected because the capital was landlocked with no rivers. So both empires could use some road networking to increase, a little bit of that, or decrease that discontent and also increase growth everywhere. But we have Persia roading now. Let's see. It does look like Persia opted to build another wonder. Indeed, Persia is the one who has secured the Ishtar Gate. That is a bit of a blow for Rome. Rome's culture, honestly, is doing fine, though. They have 3 developed cities and 1 more halfway on the way. But of course, it is a bummer when you have that many cities to not be able to secure the Ishtar Gate. The Ishtar Gate can be a big win there. So that's another wonder that's going to Persia.
Yes, indeed. I was pointing at it before I managed to unmute as I was just coming back from some water-based fluid transfer task I had set for myself during this short break. Let me catch up on vision. I hope we didn't miss out on too much. Thankfully, the Roman scout positioning allows to keep an eye on Persia even when checking the viewpoint. Oh, that's a tough choice. Well, it's an unfortunate choice for Rome between the border boost, which is always cool, especially on such a map where naval movement could be key, and it's not quite closing it out, but with the shrines that's about to complete in Rome, it would, between some of the cities at least. And I do not understand this choice. Did I see him forego both border boost and civics boost I was going to talk about for military drill? I don't agree with this choice. Civics boost, I don't think I would pass it for anything else.
It is a
it?
large amount of civics, but he does make 50 civics per turn, so his income is solid. And I have to assume with a choice like military drill right now, he must smell blood in the water when it comes to Persia. He must be thinking, I don't want to cycle military drill back into the deck. Although he is a scholar, so he could just bring it right back up. So maybe I'm wrong about that. But maybe he's thinking, I want my barracks now. I want to start building units, and I'm going to go kill Persia.
No, I think you make a good point. I understand that kind of decision. I don't think it's correct in this case. He's still far from Persia. He still has Earth units that he needs to heal and to concentrate back again. We had a few great points in a previous match about concentrating our forces. Alcaraz explained the logic behind that quite well. Um, Still, the civics boost is hard to pass. That would make an easier for slow adoption. The reserve to rush if necessary would be good. But then again, I'm a stickler for civics. There is some sense in military drill. I'm not sure he will be able to leverage that. And definitely, as you point out, with a scholar, with the guaranteed capability to bring it back as needed after a two-turn bonus, I I don't agree with the choice. It can be made to work, of course. This is no disaster. This is no game-losing mistake. But yeah, I find myself doubting the wisdom of that option.
We do have a tactics heir for Rome, 11 years old. He began tutoring this round, so I definitely think that signals to me that he's thinking about aggression within the next, 20 to 30 turns, getting that heir on the throne. The ruler is age 40, so in that same time frame, 10, 20-ish turns or more, that ruler will be dead and we'll have a tactics general on the throne ready to launch an invasion of Persia.
Indeed, you just convinced me that your reading is correct. That's what's happening there. It concords. The tactics air, the mill drill first, and to be fair, if he managed to sneak even, let's say, three chariots up to Persia, it could do devastating damage at the moment. So I would have to check the diplomatic status to know if that's workable. The event in Persia, however, is that his founder and the original leader just died. So he's now on a 12 years old leader. He hasn't resolved this event, so it's quite possible, sorry, that a regent is going to be on the throne in before the end of the turn. He's tutoring his heir, so they already have 3 attribute points and will gain more, presumably from the event. I don't quite understand the traits, but that's oh yes, that's humble, I believe, with charisma and wisdom, explaining the points. And we'll see what comes out of their studies. That's a philosophy student, I assume, with additional wisdom.
He
His
will
running
end
is
up
his run as
very
well.
likely end up. He will
Sorry.
very likely end up with a hero regent on the throne. That queen is too young.
Yes, indeed, and that might be a sufficient deterrent to protect him from immediate aggression, but that's only 6 years until his rightful heir will be there, so we'll see how that plays out. This card keeps getting bumped around. It's not standing on a granary, perpetually hidden in Persian territory. Persia is making a solid effort to road and connect their cities at this point. So their northern hunter site has been connected to the river. They still have to connect this spot, however, to their rider seat, and from there to the hunter capital. And we changed the icon, but maybe not everyone is knowledgeable about that. Rider cities always count as connected, but they do not. It's not transitive in a sense, meaning that even if he connects both his statesman seat and his northern, recently founded hunter city to this rider spot, making a poet at the moment, they will still not count as connected to his capital. So he still has a bit more roading effort ahead of himself.
All right, Persia ended their turn and they spent every order this time, so that's a pretty good sign. I like that.
Looking better indeed. Switching back to Rome, so yeah, Persia hasn't pulled the trigger yet against the Numidians, but Rome is keeping track. They have their eyes on the situation. They are just healing and consolidating their units at the moment. The chariot is still healing in Capua. I guess while he's not ready to move out, it makes sense to keep insurance against further Vandal raids. I think going Council there, he presumably won the civics, or he's just about to get an extra citizen. Yes, indeed, extra citizen in 2 turns. Oh, I'm not sure what's happening. He's going for a chariot next, so he will have to remember if he wants another turn of council. I was misreading that. The miner, the second miner is well, both miners are about to complete. Unfortunately, the diplomat who was governing Rome has died, and so now Rome is on target for a miner in 3 turns, which is definitely too late for the legacy. So I hope he will pick up on that and find a way to complete that. With the investment so far, if he cannot find a governor candidate with enough charisma, I would suggest even rushing with civics is worth it. Maybe that's sunk cost fallacy though. So what do you think about that?
He does have an orator with 2.6 civics boost that he can add into the capital, so I think if he spots that, he could be okay.
Indeed, but I think he would have to spot it right now. So I'm not quite sure. I saw it just by chance, checking on the legacies. He's done a good job with the rest. So he's friend with the goals, which is not much military power in the sense that they have a single site at the moment, and well, they are raiding him anyway. So he has. That's what you get as thanks from tribes apparently. Uh, but yeah, he's making a move and he completed that ambition. So his legacy, his legitimacy is looking much better already at 129 compared to stagnating around 80 for a long time.
Interestingly enough, chat pointed this out. It does seem like Persia, just to go back to them for a moment, opted to not assign the hero regent and take the plotting hit on that character.
That feels like a risky choice, but sometimes you just want your rightful heir to be there. So, or maybe he's hoping for even a different play or one. Well, yeah, I don't know. This looks risky to me, and waiting for 6 turns is usually acceptable. But we'll see what he does with it. There are a few events still to resolve, but I'm not sure what he's going to be doing with that. Consolidating his military in the north, getting ready to deal with the raids, and maybe pull the trigger on the. Yeah, apparently he's at war with the Vandals again, so he will finally grab that site. A little bit late, but better late than never, that's for sure. And we'll see what happens. I would really like to see a strong push for extra settling at the moment. At the very least, before the Ishar Gate is set to complete, he has a little bit more time for that. But yeah, I would like to see him abandon the idea of making an extra worker in his northern hunter city. It's never a bad pick to make a worker first in a newly funded city, but he has a bit of a glut of workers coming out of a builder leader, and yeah, that just happened. So I'm not sure if it was his plan, but the plotting hero um, either made his move and outright killed the heir. I think that's what happened because I don't see them in the succession line anymore. But I will try to dig around in the interface to make sure.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah, so immediately while denying that regent, you have your child on the throne, 12 years old, plenty of potential growth, and now you have a 32-year-old hero on the throne who just says no to that, and you have no heirs, a small court. That's a blow, and that's one of the risks you can deal with by not just allowing a regent to take over. Not always guaranteed, but it's certainly a threat.
It's usually low risk to accept a regent, so I'm not sure what happened here. There was an event, but checking the inheritance screen, the rightful heir is still around and alive, but not a rightful heir anymore. I have to assume, or they would appear in the royals listing among the characters. Sorry, I'm struggling a little bit with the Russian localization there when looking at the Persian setup. Still, hero on the throne might be a useful deterrent against Rome, so he might try to make it work, despite the unfortunate turn of events there.
Interesting. Yes. Okay. So, yeah, I'd be curious what the event was because the Regency certainly took place last turn because I saw that in the list of events already, and I remember that one enough that I could spot it. So I'd be curious what happened on this turn that put the Regent on the throne, and if he has, I don't think he has Regency.
I can't say I know from the top of my head the event that might trigger with a plotting hero against a young heir, but I have to assume you're correct. That's what happened. And it definitely looks like a full king at the moment, especially the fact that the old heir is not in the succession anymore. So
Indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, it must have been. Oh, I believe there is an event where the regent can take over, and it will exclude the rightful heir from the succession. So I must suspect that that happened, but we'll never know. Either way, it doesn't seem like a good position because that hero is fine, but doesn't necessarily have the best stats, and I don't think it's what he wants in this moment. It would be useful for clearing, which is what he does need to do.
yeah, and he's moving in against Numidian in the center, maybe not giving the highest priority to the camp. He could do a bit more. There are still melee units, so very well. He's well insured against that with his tactician generals and his units. I will note on Rome's turn that Rome has pulled the trigger, started a pair of stronghold, one in Rome as expected, another one in Nida in the south. He's completing his minor next turn in Novesium. It seems he hasn't picked up on the minor being no late in Roma, so that's unfortunate. That's going to be a missed legacy. Still, he had 4 legacies with an early founder death and managed to complete 3 of them. A bit of poor timing, bad luck on losing that diplomat right in time. That's a very sneaky change. You don't check again on the estimated time of arrival when that happens. So I definitely sympathize. Unfortunate, but still good play, I would say, on Rome side with that. He's picked an ambition for 2 legendaries, so I fully expect him to be digging for more lows to be able to get actual legendaries rather than just Astatai. But solid play.
So one thing we definitely want to keep an eye out for is aggression from Rome down here over this Numidian camp. Let's not forget that he does have a scout. He does see that all 3 of those warriors are half health, and he does have a um, chariot that, to the best of my knowledge, will be in force march distance from where it currently is. And we have a warrior with a commander and a tactician slinger in the region too. So we could see our first real battle of the game with Rome coming in to take advantage of the weakened forces of Persia trying to clear this Numidian camp.
Indeed, and I don't know if that's indicative of anything, but that chariot has focus. Let's not forget that his leader has 7 wisdom as a scholar, so that could be a reasonable chance of crit as well on that unit, and he could definitely inflict some devastating blows if he moves in there. So rightly pointed out there, I would agree.
All right, it's Rome's turn. Let's see if this is the moment that they decide to take him. They would need to force march the warrior as well, and they have plenty of training. And so let's see if they opt to move a little bit closer or if they decide to go in at this moment. Keep in mind, there is no nearby settler. Of course, Rome doesn't know this, but there's no nearby settler for Persia. So if Persia goes in for this clear and takes out that camp, then Rome will be free to come in with a chariot, with a slinger, and really clear up and do some serious damage to these Persian troops.
Indeed, and your read is getting quite confirmed. So with 3 units converging toward the south, the chariot has been redirected. He's moving in with his units. I think it just clicked the force march button on the
He's
warrior as
going
you
in. He's going
predicted.
in.
There you go. The chariot is coming up. He has a pair of chariots in production. He clicked on the free chariot body card. So we are seeing combat at the moment. I don't know
Yeah,
if it
we have our first
launches
battle.
chariot. Yep.
Oh, and the camp upgrades as well. So we have an immediate retreat from Persia. They're fleeing, but they have a chariot in tow. The chariot will be able to reach into those woods without a force march. The slinger can follow in tow as well and do enough damage that the chariot can rout. It will be against two tactician units, so that'll be a lot of incoming damage. However, both the warrior and the chariot and the slinger could all come in and wipe out both of these units definitely next turn.
Yes, we will have to keep track closely on that. I almost don't dare move my screen array, but yeah, if target prioritization is right enough on the Rome side, and that means aggressive enough, it's definitely worth it taking the damage from the melee attack against the tactician and wiping out both units, reassigning both tacticians, losing tempo, getting military advantage. Persia is distracted. He doesn't exactly know that, but he can keep track. He knows that the city is getting aggressed. Is under aggression from raiders on the each target because of his scout there. He saw the units going to deal with the Vandal sites, so he has all the tools. If he puts it together, it will encourage him to indeed keep moving forward and inflict aggression. 3 chariots in the work to follow up, a slinger going in that direction, another warrior is on its way between Novesium and Roma at the moment. So he is keeping just token forces to deal with raids in the north, and yeah, his focus is very good at the moment.
Yeah, it can't be stressed enough that this is one of the most important examples right here about the difference between scouting and the difference between vision. Because Rome had that scout and was able to see the wounded warriors that were still making an effort to clear camp, and then conversely, let's not forget that Persia had a scout closer to Rome. If Persia was able to get that scout into the woods, Persia would have been able to see that there was a warrior, that there was a slinger, and potentially even the chariot nearby. But because this discrepancy of information and vision, Rome is going to be able to take advantage of it. We do have roads coming up from behind as well for Rome. There's beginning to build a worker chain roading towards the Numidian camp. So he's definitely thinking that he's going to be able to apply more pressure. We have a chariot coming out in 5 turns from Capua, a chariot coming out in 4 from Brixia, and then a 3-turn slinger in Nita itself. So there's going to be the ability to reinforce this front line. And he's moved his scout up towards Persia as well to get a sense of what level of military presence Persia even has in the region, and if he can press this his advantage. This is the level of aggression that I like to see, taking advantage of your opponent's weakness.
Yeah, very solid play indeed. He cleared out a unit. It's a bit unfortunate that he didn't manage to nab both warriors, but still that's a blow to Persia. That's good deterrence. He will have time to kill the Numidians himself and settle if he can get a settler around. It doesn't seem he has made plans for that yet, but still, the additional chariots that will join from Brixia, from the Free Tech, the Slinger already on the way, eventually the chariot from Capua. I cannot say I really agree with the Walker build in Rome instead of getting an additional chariot. And well, the Orator assignment was too late to complete the minor, which is unfortunate. Still, he's in a very strong position at the moment. It definitely has the momentum and the initiative. So we'll have to see how that moves. And it's a bit sorry that he didn't use his slinger to at least blink one of the Numidians, because they will have to do that at one point. But I fully agree that it's the correct priority to move his scouts forward, maintain his vision advantage. He doesn't know for sure that it's an advantage. He only killed one of the scouts himself, but very strong play here from Moroten.
And it's important to keep in mind if we look north with what Persia is doing, dealing with these raids, and also attempting to clear that camp with just 2 units. The majority, even though from Rome's perspective, he's looking at a similar military force, right? What we know is that most of those units are damaged. Not only are they far away, but they're damaged. They're not even ready to rotate into a battle just now. He's having to heal multiple units. And Rome can, at the very least, see that there's one wounded slinger in Para. So he might press this advantage further.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. This scout is still paying dividend. He can see the Earthwalker, the Earth City, the Earthslinger. He can probably infer the Earth Warrior as well. It's very hard to keep track of stuff you don't have current vision on. But still, he's seen the
All right,
units
here we are
up
back to
north,
Rome. It
so
looks like they're going for the Numidian camp. That's a decent play. He does not have a settler that's going to be able to settle it at the moment, unfortunately. However, he will get rid of it from her being able to harass his units. And I would not be surprised if he opts to maybe send his slinger or certainly the chariot, since it can make the distance pretty easily, back to heal up and wait for his incoming reinforcements.
indeed, and we still have his additional chariots coming up. There are three in the short term, in the coming four turns. He still has a warrior, a slinger. It's not like he doesn't have reinforcement either to push on the attack, as he managed slowly to link up and facilitate his movement. He's linked up in terms of naval territory between Capua and Roma, so that's not all the way, but it will still accelerate the movement of this chariot coming out of his patron seat. And yeah, just plopping down a settler on this Numidian site will be additional advantage. The connection work he's doing with road is excellent, and support that as well. So I echo you there. That's solid play, and consolidating the advantage he gained already with earlier aggression. Turn 51
It
is
all
not early by dual standard, but it's still the one who did it right.
It is also worth noting that for the first time, from Rome's perspective, since the start of the game, where he had that champion's advantage and the advantage of starting the free warrior, he is going to be able to see that Persia is weaker than him. So that would be another thing that will inform his ability to press some sort of advantage. And in terms of the timing on this, it can go a lot of different ways. I feel like we're definitely looking at a slower paced game in terms of where players might be in terms of the tech tree and their overall power and things like that. However, I feel like for most players, if you're watching this right now on stream, or you're picking this up later and you're going to be participating in the tournament and you're new to multiplayer, your benchmarks for early aggression and risky play are right around turn 30, I would say, and then right here around turn 50. Those are the moments where you can start running into a situation where you're going to be up against your opponent and they're ready to fight you.
Yes, indeed. So Yeah, I would guess a good sense of timing overall. Pressing his advantage with chariots. Maybe could have gone for some of it a bit earlier, but he still needed to have horses around to have all that. He's following it up with his follows. So Astatai will be around in just a few turns. So yeah, very solid play. Definite aggression at the moment. Uh, Persia is still very fragmented with not enough units in every places. And I would say, in general, if you can do it, it's better to have an army somewhere and be vulnerable somewhere else, because at least you're taking contain risks that you should try to do. But it's better to just keep enough to hold in one place if you are getting raided, but be decisive in your conquest, your camp clearing, your defense in another place. The two units are still struggling to clear out this Vandal camp on the coastline. He has one unit that's not doing much up north, but will be helpful against the Thracians. But on the other hand, it's drawing in Thracians that are coming, even if they are not raiders, but just random tribe units. He's forced to use Earthwalkers to make progress with Garrison apparently, and these two units just dealing with raids are very hurt, cannot be put to contribution immediately, so he's pulled apart at the moment with multiple priorities, multiple threats. Part of that is a bit late timing with dealing with tribes. And part of it is a strong sense of opportunity on the Rome side, but still it's a bit it's a definite disadvantage, and Rome is cognizant of at least some of that with their excellent scouting. So yeah, we are seeing, as you were saying, the an illustration of the importance of maintaining good vision and good intelligence on what your opponent is doing. Oh, and just in time, he managed to buy the orders and attack in the center. Still, everything is hanging by a margin. His warriors are getting hurt and attacked in the open terrain, and he really needs to concentrate his fighting efforts to be effective.
I would like to be seeing more military units from Persia. We have a stone cutter coming out down in that statesman city. It seems like the timer got to him once more. So is northern statesman city is running council, and he's building two treasuries, which I don't necessarily think is the best thing to be focusing on right now. He needs more bodies, especially after taking a blow from Rome like that. I would immediately that stone cutter coming out from the city and not focusing on that city with the council. I would have immediately started building two new units right away just to replace the two that I lost.
Indeed, I agree with that. On Rome side, since it's their turn again, they just clicked on navigation. They had a few other options. I agree with the choice. Monasticism, portcullis, machinery were the alternatives. Machinery is great and could be the nail in the coffin, but at the moment, the most important is to consolidate his advantage in his ability to concentrate his forces. The orders from serfdom will be awesome. That's a further step toward, well, a fifth row now, moving toward the legionaries for which he picked an ambition. He's completing his stronghold in Nida next turn in perfect sync with his slinger, completing his stronghold in Roma next turn, and opted for a council to make sure he won't forget to reassign. So he will be able to get two Astatai very early, and is making consistent work toward additional laws, a citadel, and eventually legionaries. And that might be the clincher. Although I would say in that case the if we get all that to pan out, that what we will see the consequences of his choices he's made in the just recent turn. Continued progress on the road as well. Very efficient turns management in his turns. Time management. Sorry, I'm pretty sure he ended his turn early, putting additional pressure on his opponent that is struggling, and we'll see
Indeed.
what comes out of that.
And with the training situations in the two cities that have their strongholds coming online, we're looking at a 4-turn Hestastus in Roma and a 6-turn Hestastus coming from Nida. So he's going to be able to pump out his unique unit. And again, let's keep in mind that Persia does not have access to a 5-strength unit yet. It does not have axes. It does not have archers or horsemen. So a 6 strength Roman unique unit coming into Persian territory is going to be devastating.
Indeed, indeed, that might bring the game to a conclusion. His settler is done for that Numidian side, but unfortunately that window of opportunity has closed. He got an additional hamlet, a bit of extra vision and all that, but it's already risky to go and improve this pasture. Of course, Rome is on point with their scouting. Very good scouting and vision play, I would say, on Rome in general in this game. He's cleared up an additional unit, but once again he's stretched. Even his half-elf walker warrior in the middle would get killed by the pair of Vandal units, so he cannot really use it for aggression. He will need to go back and heal before doing anything. So yeah, he's still getting pulled apart. His forward positioned warrior in the north is pulling in tribe units that are not even raiding, so he's kinda pulling extra aggression that he doesn't need to have to handle at the moment. So it's getting tough, and time management, I have no doubt, is putting too much pressure. He's going for rhetoric. He will have a second law soon, but that's still a far cry from the ability to adapt 4. He has only slavery at the moment, still has 30 turns away. So yeah, it feels like it's already starting to crumble. So he might survive it if Rome doesn't identify the opportunity, but so far Moroten has shown strong game sense in this opportunity assessment, let's say.
It's indeed. It's a shame the tech choices here because we are going for rhetoric, yes, but that's only going to be a second law in this situation. And we do have steel in the deck, so at the very least, he has a lot of warriors. He focused on a bunch of warriors while he was building up his army. If he did something like a steel grab, he would at the very least be able to upgrade his whole army once they're finally healed into better units. He started with husbandry. There's still no spoked wheel after 50 turns. And yeah, even getting this rhetoric situation, he's nowhere near a fourth law to bring his own unique unit. It's a pretty tough spot. It looks like he went up towards forestry, which I just don't think would have been a good pick in this situation.
Indeed, I disagree with forestry. So, to be fair, in the tech trees, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit follows. He's getting rhetoric. He could get aristocracy quite quickly. He could get navigation after that. But that's a lot to pile up, and then you have to find the civics. And even with the pyramids, he's not on a big civics bank to do that. He will have competing pressure to hurry, I don't know, a wall in this border city or to handle the aggression. So yes, I think a stronger sense of urgency toward better units is really needed. His units are starting not to even cut it, even when there are a few against tribes who are no, well, strength 5 quite commonly everywhere. So a lot of pressure indeed on Persian side.
It is worth noting one silver lining here that might come in and help Persia out is that for the first time in the game, we'll see it once it's on Rome's turn, but Persia, it has surpassed Rome in science. Persia ended up with a schemer on the throne, and currently we are looking at 62 science to 44 in favor of Persia. We have an intelligent schemer. It is debauched, so that's not an ideal situation to be in, but it's a rising star as well with 6 wisdom. So that's going to give him and it's 42 years old, so he'll have a decent amount of turns to capitalize on this science advantage, and maybe he can finally catch up in some key technologies and protect himself from a potential Roman invasion.
Indeed, indeed. So Rome opted to go for a settler and quickly secure the ex-Numidian site rather than produce second Astatai immediately in Nida. But the city has good growth with 3 pastures, with the barley boosted by a granary. So a 4-turn settler is quite good. So that's quite possibly the right choices. We have more warriors in the work still. Chariots keep coming up. So and I assume he will wait for serfdom to resume aggression. He has the civics bank to adopt it immediately when it comes. So there will be more pressure. I'm not exactly quite sure. So the rising star, of course, is what allowed is leader swap. It might be the right play. Definitely, the wisdom is helping. Catching up on silence rate is good, which means he stabilizes the tech differential about 3 tech back, I believe, from what you said some time ago. So probably 3 to 4 techs late now, depending on bonus cards. He has a settler he redirected the settler, I assume intended for the Numidian side toward the Vandal spot, but he still has to clear it. But it might be possible. Unfortunately, it seems like he lost another warrior in the interturn. We see a skeleton by the river here, marking the recent combat, and indeed he lost a unit, so I assume that's what happened there. But no doubt he's under very high pressure, so he's getting a few additional warriors from his capital, and yeah, might be too little too late though. On a full 12 orders wasted on the past turn. I'm sure it feels bad for Droner. I'm a bit sorry about that. But Moroten is very diligent on pressing his advantage and ending his turns early. Not that it makes that huge difference in strict mode, but yeah, he senses blood in the water and is probably right about that. He has an advantage. Let's see if he can capitalize on it and bring it. Yes, additional chariot moving forward, a zealot assigned. Yeah, I'm not sure when the settler will be coming. He's extending his road network. He linked, he settled an additional champion site as Villa Erracini in the north, or maybe that's been done a long time ago. Yes, it has, with Warrior just missed on it. But we have the road now.
And from the Roman perspective, Persia is now much weaker, so I would suspect that he can smell blood in the water.
Indeed, indeed. I expect some level of consolidation with the units that are hurt from the earlier aggression, but that's the last delay before moving in, I assume. If he doesn't move in with his fresh chariots, the nasty combination of a zealot that can afford to stay exposed a little bit and a commander which will have additional strength from adjacency, he can be devastating. He has good generals on all his units, and is still funneling additional power down. And indeed, with a much weaker opponent, we might. Well, there's a definite very strong advantage on the Roman side at the moment. He's ended his turn. We're back onto Persia, handling the situation with the Vandals with some degree of priorities. Unfortunately, having to move back means he's still has 2 units to face down at this spot. He's still facing aggression with the Thracians in the north that are at the very least a distraction. Yeah, tough situation. He's moved back his tactician warrior from the front line toward this core. I imagine gambiting that he has to take risks to at least get rid of some of the threats, and the Vandals harassing him from close to the center are definitely deserve some level of priority. I disagree with the settler build in his capital, however, he really needs units urgently, and tempting as it is, and the need to catch up, it can be strong, but you want units when you are much weaker than your opponent. Yeah, he's very much hurting for units at the moment. Going for a forum. I mean, if going for a project, I would really want a wall in this city. It's not always good. It won't replace units, but a forum and a poet is a bit pushing it. So I definitely understand inserting a priority in front of the poet, but you don't have the time at this moment to get the forum, to accelerate the wall, then get the wall, then resume your poet. You need the wall right now. You need it. You need it ready when Rome comes marching in. and you want additional units. You don't need additional workers. I mean, they're always good, and you have the orders to use them, but you don't have the time to use them, and you need to urgently delay the worker if you're in this situation, even if it started. You've got a lot of worker from your initial leader. You have to accept that at one point you need to slow down your development to just survive.
Yes, yes, indeed. Indeed. Looking good on the Roman side. And I think what I find disappointing here is that it doesn't really feel like Persia is assessing the situation. It doesn't seem like they're really consolidating in the way that they have to be. And one thing I'd like to see from Rome, actually, is I'd like to see them take a risky play and decide to adventure one or both of their scouts around the region of Persia, because in a time like this, when you know you're much stronger and you have troops nearby and you're kind of thinking, at what point can I really push this or even end this game, it can be worth it. And there are forests nearby to hide in, even though he would be giving up that central vision near the Persian capital. He could take both scouts right now to do a quick pass around the majority of Persia's territory and see quite literally nearly everything that Persia has. And then that could inform a strong decision. I'd love to see something like that take place.
Indeed, absolutely great point. So I'm not sure how confident he is in the forest still being there and not being occupied by an enemy unit or a vandal. He doesn't have as complete vision as we do, but definitely both in the south and in the center, I suppose. You make a strong argument for it. That would definitely be valuable if he's going to wait for his units to be healed to move in, which is definitely reasonable on the safe play. He's accelerating that, by the way. He just rushed the settler in Nida to be able to fund the city early, and I love that. He just completed the road, so there's a strong sense of coordinating his move from Rome, and I love to see that. Getting the settler exactly when the road is complete, maximizing the efficiency of his orders and his movement to cross the distance. Very strong. I agree with you on the vision play. That would be great. He's still a turn to heal and can do it more. And so far, he's been quite accurate with his assessment of the need for scouting and extra intelligence. He's completing his roads at the moment, correctly assessing that there is a very strong value in linking Roma to the sea to benefit from the connectivity there. That will do most of the job to get to Nida for the connection bonus. Actually, all of it. There are two rivers there, so he's keeping his head straight at the moment, and that's to be commended. I think in this context.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, getting back to the Persian turn. So a few events that I do not quite decipher at the moment. One for Zoroastrianism. Wait a second. An event for Zoroastrianism? It was just funded by Persia in the end, of all people? Alright, good value, too late, but yeah, I think there is a bit of work needed on assessing priorities on the Persian side. Sure, it's good to have a look on the early religions and all that, but you shouldn't be working on acolytes when you are much weaker than your opponent. Lost a unit recently, had to move back from your expected settling spot. It's good that he's finally dealing with the Vandal situation, but he's horribly vulnerable at the moment. He's completely blind to the map. He had to move back in the center.
We do have a strong issue with the fact that Persia is not building a new military unit in any of his cities at the moment. So that's, I think what we're going to be seeing here is probably a lack of military multiplayer experience, which is totally fine. We have lots of new players trying multiplayer for the first time because of this tournament, and that's the kind of participation we want to see here. However, I don't think Droner realizes that he's up against the clock of his opponent. If he is aware of looking at the tooltip of his enemy. He will see that Rome is much stronger than him. He does not have much longer to wait around to try and build up some level of force that can defend him, because at any moment, and Droner doesn't know when this will be, at any moment, Rome could decide that they're ready to move in and go for the kill. And so that's something that you need to think about in this time frame. It's not the time to be building forums or treasuries. You need to be figuring out a way. What is your defense going to be? Where is it going to come from? What units can I bring into this match to protect myself?
Yeah, indeed, trying to provide feedback, which might be lost because I'm not speaking Russian, unfortunately, but uh, it seems that this is a bit of the efficiency trap that sometimes comes with a single player mindset. I can see what he's doing. He's making a forum in this city, and he's getting a pair of barracks, and he's waiting for that to be done, to maybe get an officer, because it will be more efficient to make military units, or something along those lines. Surely I should be doing something else until I'm better at making military units. But that's an incorrect assessment. You really need units right now. You need units yesterday. You're already much weaker. It's already too late. That's full emergency. You should be making. You should allow yourself maybe one city doing something else than getting military units in this situation. You really need them. You have the iron to get warriors. You can sell wood, you can sell food to make cheap slingers. You're still Persia, they're still cheaper than usual, 37 stone instead of 50. You know you're stretched militarily, it's very hard to hold the raids to do that. You literally lost a unit and a city spot to your opponent. They are showing up with chariots. You need to reassess your priorities. And it's unfortunate and to have to abandon it, to abandon your old plans, but I fully concur with Siontific here. You should be making military units everywhere. This is an emergency. It's not a threat. It's a full-on crisis you have on your hand. You need to react right now, or preferably 5 turns ago.
And of course, this is just one more example to emphasize the point for those who are new to this arena, or who are, getting interested in multiplayer for the first time. The tactical nature of vision, because Persia lost both of their scouts. Persia can't even see this fully settled city that we're looking at with Rome, that's filled with units, that's practically right out of Persia, outside of Persia's border. Persia has no idea it's there. There's no units, there's no vision. But Rome settled it after the fact. So Persia has no clue that they're being staged against.
Yeah, and there's a full-on new army group growing up in the Roman territory. They're still managing to handle their barbarians in the north. They are correctly assessing that they don't need to settle this spot that they've cleared ages ago now. And Astatus, Chariot, Astatus, Warrior, in all their city, they just founded this spot and they are going for a slinger. They've concentrated their force. So there's very good priority assessment. No, no, I don't want to insist too much, and probably it's too late to make such a statement. Persia is definitely struggling for order. I disagree with the peak of land consolidation. I don't know if it was an AI peak because they weren't in time to make a peak deliberately, but it's a longer tech than the alternatives. I don't have really time to figure out what the alternate choices for tech, but they are at the very least 200 science tech, so quicker. There's a 101, which I suspect might be a free unit that they could get because of the red warning. I assume it would get discarded. You need to do something right now. So he's pressured for time. Last turn he didn't manage to spend 5 of his orders, and I assume that's not for lack of unit. He still has quite a few workers hanging around, but and finally we see that Vandal spot settled at least. But yeah, I hope the lesson won't be too harsh from this game, but yeah, it can be a tough welcome to multiplayer sometimes. So I'm not quite sure what's the timer, what's lack of familiarity, but But yeah, a bit unfortunate.
Persia Persia is currently looking at, by my assessment, he's currently looking at in his deck. He's obviously has land consolidation, and his other choices would be composite bow, it would be spoked wheel, and it would be, um, uh, forgive me, phalanx. So basically, he had the opportunity to pick any of the three crucial military techs that he could have in this time frame in the game, and we've opted for land consolidation, which I do understand in terms of grove placement. There's lots of groves on the match, but again, I think what we've bumped into right now is we have a player who's hyper fixated on economic development, hyper fixated on playing the long game, not realizing that with a human opponent on the other map, you are on the clock. They are the timer. It's not the scoreboard. It's not the computer. It's not the diplomacy in the game. The timer is your opponent's development and aggression against you.
Indeed, thank you for taking the time to work out what it is, the tech. I don't want to over the same bit of UI while I'm streaming, but
Yep, no worries.
I can see it now. The composite bow with the range below, the phalanx here with the bonus against the horses, and the five strength unit. I'm reading it for the players. The Chancellor here with his bonuses, so this is poked wheel, and I don't know exactly what the bonus card is. Maybe it's a courtier or something that's not necessary, but yeah, I would say that's a worst pick. I get it in single player context, and you want to catch up in research, but that's not going to matter, not in time. And indeed, you're very right about explaining and teaching about assessing what are the priorities that matter and the timer we have. Even in single player, sometimes the challenge is winning before the AI does, rather than an existential threat where you are at risk of getting wiped out. And at the moment, Rome is very much an existential threat. Even if you don't have full visibility, them being much stronger and having made a move toward you should be ample warning.
Yes, indeed. In another 4 turns, we will have 3 Hestastus total for Rome, and we just he. If this is another comparison you can make between both nations, we can see that nearly every single city in Rome is building a military unit, while Persia has no military units in queues, except, oh, finally he has queued up a warrior in the capital. That's very good. But that's just the type of shift that you're going to see at certain points. Obviously, depending on play styles, obviously, depending on player position. But Rome is at a situation where they can just go full bore into military production and start planning to use it. Their heir is now 23 years old. They are a commander with mediocre stats, but still a commander is not that bad. And the ruler for Rome is 52 years old. So at some point, we will see a regime change. I'd be curious if Rome decides to either wait for the regime change before they attack, to go before the regime change, or if they decide to be bold and maybe just abdicate to the general and take advantage of that, because a commander on a chariot would be a big deal, and they currently have that princess, that commander, on one of their chariots right now, so that will be bonus flanking damage for a very mobile unit.
Oh yeah, the commander flanking would be devastating, and I hadn't picked up on that. Thank you for checking the UI while I'm yapping and looking at the screen. Yeah, that's an excellent point. He's well set up for inheritance. Might be worth even abdicating, even if it's an awesome scholar. But the science is going to stop mattering in not too long. Once you are burning down your opponent's city and have dealt with their army, and even beyond,
Indeed,
even
I'd really, really like to see Rome do some advanced scouting of Persia and just to get a sense of what he's working with, because I feel like if Rome could see what we would see, he would be so close. He still is close, but I feel like he would be maybe even getting ready to move in right now or in the next several turns. He could be waiting for those Hestastus to finish. Certainly having three is better than just one. Um, but he has plenty of orders. He's making 28 orders per turn. I mean, he's in a really solid position. He does have serfdom coming online this turn when he wants it. He has the civics, so that's going to be 33 orders per turn. Plus, he has workers that he can stop moving, so he is in a very, very strong position to go in for an attack.
He just rushed an additional status. I don't. My read was that he wasn't waiting for the status, but just to heal his originally hurt unit. But that's done now. We'll see what he decides. Just appointed general on the Astatai, advanced in Patavium, rushed the one in Nida that was in progress. He has quite a few more leading up, so we'll see if he wants to make the full build up of units, or but definitely could move in now and is doing it. Actually is pushing his road forward. I'm sure you'll be happy about the combat workers. Very good play, I would say. It's important to work on your logistics. That wins wars, and is moving forward with 3 chariots, all with generals, 2 slingers, both with generals, a warrior, 3 slingers, all with generals, and a warrior with a general with more units in the back line. He's done with his orders, but that's a very decisive mood. Yes, very good. And even if the Astatai are not around yet, he's moving his unit packed as well, rather than moving too full forward and keeping the other in the back. He's not leaving anything to chance. Very strong play from Rome here. Let's see if Persia reacts.
Yes, and indeed, from Persia's perspective, he can see units advancing. However, again, due to vision restrictions, he only sees 1 warrior and 1 slinger so far. So he does know that Rome is advancing, and finally, he has cleared the camps. He has no raids, but he still is at war with Thrace. So we might have to worry about the north at some point, but we can see Persian units making their way south in response to this peeking out of the fog from Rome.
And he's starting to identify the risk. He has inserted warriors in front of the queue in his southern cities. He still has one that's going to be produced in his capital, but it's too little, too late. 6 turns, it's just too long. So sure, one of them is a developing city, but it feels bad rushing a warrior, and anyway with 38 civics that's not going to happen. The other warrior is in production in a weak city, so even with civics, even with anything, 6 turns. This warrior will likely not happen unless Rome gets inexplicably cold feet and pull off the attack, but I don't see that happening. I would love,
And
as you
this is
said, to see scouts moving forward, but to be fair, the vision play has already been quite superior, and they are at the very least decently acceptably positioned. So I think we are going to see aggression continue. Sorry, up to you.
yes. And this is another good example for Persia, not to harp on the same concept. However, you can see now that Persia has gone ahead and slotted a military unit in every single one of their cities. But this is one of the things that, if you're not familiar, you want to be looking at the tooltip of your opponent up in the score section or their diplomatic tab, and keep track of their military strength. If you see that they're stronger than you, if you see that they're much stronger than you, that when you know that you're behind, you don't want to be waiting until you see units on your doorstep to start switching to military production, because now this could be too late for Persia.
Indeed. Sorry, I was busy checking viewpoints to be able to show the tooltip in English. When you see much weaker or much stronger, this is a strong side, unless you're really at the other end of the map and you have very good vision to know if your opponent is doing something. You don't have time to delay and to ramp up before converting. You need to convert right now. It's very good that Persia caught up in science production and even overtook Rome a little bit, although wisdom has still grown on Rome, so I don't know where that stands. But the truth is, at this point, you need units win games.
Rome has
Science
moved in.
doesn't. Yes, and is routing. I let you take the commentary, Sion. I need to mute for a second.
Okay. Yeah, so Rome has moved in. They've crit a worker, and now they're attacking the city directly. We have no advanced scouting from Rome, so they're just going for it. They're confident in their power level. They're confident in their northern vision around the capital, what they could see up there. And we have a huge advancing force. It's approximately 7 to 8 units, give or take. We have Hestastus. We have 3 chariots, 3 slingers, 4 chariots, forgive me, 4 chariots, 3 slingers, and a warrior. The road network from Rome all the way to Persia is nearly complete, so he will be able to reinforce. We have a Hestastus coming from Rome next turn, one that was rushed out. One thing that I did notice is that Rome currently has not paid attention to the fact that they can adopt serfdom. That's a decision that
Oh,
they're gonna want to make because they will be able to have an extra 5 orders per turn, and this is the moment where they certainly want it.
yes, I didn't keep track of that, so a slight mistake. I imagine just forgot to do it, to click on the button. Last turn, they will want the orders. They will still have to wait for their turn to be back to adopt the law. You cannot change your laws or your research or something like that during your opponent turns anymore. But yes, this is the move. This is decisive, and indeed, we will see that the additional build-up is just insurance or speeding up things. But this is enough. This is enough to break Persia. This is enough to take the city, to deal with any reinforcement that comes, uh, and challenge everything Persia has been doing. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but when you invest in your strong development, it's cool development, but it will become your opponent development if they ever decide to take it. So, that's still very vulnerable. I'm not sure if Persia was playing for the unique unit, but not the unique unit, the 3 unit cards, but 3 turns is more than they can afford at the moment. Spoked wheel might be correct, but it's too late. So the warrior will complete. Maybe another one. Well, they cannot rush at the moment, so units are converging toward the south, but it's late already, and
Indeed, it's a bit unfortunate. We are seeing a situation where basically Persia is in the spot where the decisions that they make are just going to be a little bit too little, too late. Spoked wheel coming online, turn 59 is just not going to be able to help a situation where your opponent already has several chariots that can come and hunt down your units. I would be curious to see if Rome. Oh, we have a surrender. We have a victory. Indeed.
but we have a winner, so that's to be expected. To be fair, I don't think Persia can do anything at this point. They can delay a little bit, give a good fight, but that's it. The game is lost unless Rome turns back. So a very strong showing, I think, from Moroten should be commended. Uh, to be fair, very decent play from Persia on the economic development. There were some very correct development assessment in the beginning, a bit slow on the expansion, and I think the big mistake was incorrectly assessing the threat of the situation. We'll see if we can bring one or ideally both of the players for a little post-game commentary and analysis. I'm not too sure about that because I know Droner is not comfortable with spoken English, so he might not want to commentate. But we'll ask. We might be back in a few minutes.
Yeah, and we can also take a peek at the end game stats. It is a bit unfortunate because Droner did open with a strong economic advantage. He even started ahead in cities, but I think where he really struggled with was in expansion. In several different moments, he was losing warriors to barbarians. He also was not bringing back his military units to heal. So he could have a playstyle maybe from single player games where he's used to a much slower rate of expansion, which is fine. That can work in plenty of games. He has plenty of
Hmm.
wonders. He has the good economy. He has good science. However, in a multiplayer arena, arena, you can face an opponent who will basically outexpand you and then come in for the kill.
Indeed, strong early play. I would say mostly correct sense for development of cities, but the well, I expect that as a combination of factor. The adapting to the multiplayer arena where the timing of things is different. The enforced turn timer, no undo. It all takes some getting used to. We definitely saw some skills, some right assessment, some right play. I liked the wonder play in particular from Persia. I think that was rightly done and capitalizing on his builder. I think he got a bit carried away with his development, however, keep making workers late where he already had a sizable advantage early on. Not putting enough emphasis on vision. On keeping his scouts alive. He could have protected them. There were enough forests around. He had the orders to move them quickly and make sure he was moving from forest to forest, at least when they were already hurt and vulnerable. But the turn timer probably was hampering him quite a bit, and he got punished for that. So that's a bit unfortunate, but an interesting match in the end, and I think a very good one as example for teaching. There were some right plays, there were some wrong plays, there were some opportunities, some bad luck that got compensated for a little bit. But yes, indeed, when Rome pulled the trigger, it's very apparent on the military score. We see a huge ramp up, very quick. That was impossible to overcome at that moment from Persia's side. Two pulled apart, divided in attention. So once again, it's tougher when you're not at least a little bit experienced with a turn timer and no undo. But yeah, what was cool to see. I'll see if we can pull a player in. Sion, take it over.
All right, yeah, well, you work on that. It's just one thing that's unfortunate to note here. It might not show up on screen because I don't have the access to the camera. However, Rome built 15 units. We have 5 warriors, 4 slingers, 3 chariots, and 3 hestastus, right? Compared to Persia's 10. So honestly, that's not a massive amount of difference in terms of unit count. But what the issue becomes is twofold. A, we're looking at only warriors, so you have one of the weaker types of units in the game. And then B, he struggled with that expansion. So I think he lost at least 3 of those warriors while trying to expand his territory. So that set him back a huge amount. And it's just unfortunate. That's one of the reasons why when you're thinking about your own pacing and your own games, if you're new to this arena and you've joined the tournament, try to get some level of military leverage early, even if it's a deviation from your usual development path, because having 10 warriors when you're against an army of 15 diverse, strengthened troops is a very tough thing to beat.
Indeed, indeed. I'm checking. It seems the player are still in voice chat in one of the public channel in the on our Discord server. So I suggest we jump in. I'm going to do that. So leave our call, Cyan, and we'll see you back in the pyramids if you're okay with that on the public chat.
Oh, you want me to leave, you said? Yeah, that's fine.
Hello,
Hey,
hello,
we
Drona. Hello, Moroten. Well
hello,
played,
hello. Thank you.
Moroten. Uh, if you're available, I understand. We are speaking English, and you might not be at ease with that. I'll try to have better pronunciation. Drona, do you wish? Well, congratulations to Moroten. I think there were very interesting plays on both sides. Uh, Anything you want to discuss, highlight, mention about the game? It seems Droner in particular had difficulties with the turn timer, so that's a bit unfortunate. Uh, Anything you want to comment on for the stream? We are live, by the way, so.
I would like to know if I made any serious mistakes. I bet I did. This was my first Multiplayer game ever.
Oh, I wouldn't say any major mistakes on your part. You did delay a little bit your expansion at the beginning, but you compensated by going for a series of settlers at one point. So I think that was good. You correctly, well, there's a lot of good things to say about your play. The identification of the patron seat. I, there will be some minor things, but I would call them, let's say, inaccuracies. And really, they're a bit minor. Let's say I would have improved the pearls in the patron seat before the die, even if you had an ambition, things like that. You
Mhm.
didn't quite catch that your diplomat died in Roma, so that it delayed your minor, and you missed the legacies. But really minor things. So I will recommend you watch the stream, so see what we commentate upon and all that. But overall, very solid, coordinated play, a deserved win um, from your side. Although Drona had very good early development, and the early wonder grabs were strong as well. But I feel, Drona, that you got a bit carried away with economic
I
development.
my English is not very good. I don't understand you. You speak quickly. Please make a text, please.
Yeah, I'll try to type out some questions in text. Sorry.
And
No,
it's all right. Sometimes we won't always be able to get that post-game chat, but I think you both played very well. I think Droner had a strong development. I think the main hiccup was not transitioning to a military buildup at a certain point, and that's going to happen if you're new to the military game or the multiplayer game. I mean to say. And one thing I would like to say for Moroten, we made some comments on vision. The scouting was pretty solid. The fact that you were able to get those scouts across the map and kind of keep eyes on Persia is also a very clutch and important thing in the multiplayer setting. And it's a bit unfortunate that for Droner, he actually ended up losing one of his scouts close to Rome. And that's the type of thing that can make a difference because one player won't be able to see the advance of another player. And then, Rome, you, Morton, were able to kind of get a sense of where Persia was and what they were doing. And that can become a very powerful, powerful tactical thing about the game.
yeah, yeah, certainly. I just want to comment on the note. Captain Rome. I did notice him or her dying, but I thought I had enough civics to rush my force earlier. But apparently, I was mistaken. I lost some civics somewhere along the road. I don't know how, really.
Indeed, indeed, yes.
Okay, but is there anything I need to do right now, or we rather? Do I need to report this victory? Or
All right. Thank you for taking at least a bit of time to chat a little bit with us. It's unfortunate. Well, I don't speak Russian, so I cannot really help an analysis. Thank you very much for joining again. It was a great game to spectate. I will try to. Uh, I will keep I will keep discussing with you in text, Joanna, to get a bit more feedback from you, and provide some if you want some. Thank you again, guys. It was a great game to watch and to commentate upon. We are very happy. We are getting good participation in the tournament. So you're free now. We leave you to leave the voice chat if you feel like it, and we'll close out the stream with Scientific. Thanks again, and congratulations to the winner once again. And you will have another chance, Droner, in to get some wins. This is a double elimination tournament, so I'll be watching your next match with interest.
all right,
Okay.
thank you, guys.
Thank you. Too.
I'm off to bed. Good night.
All right, Sion, I think we are reaching the conclusion for this stream, and Androna and chat. And I'm sorry, it's very hard to be commentating and reading all the chat. Thank you, Siontific, for taking the time to answer chat and to react while I was panning around and trying to stay a bit more active and panoramic with the camera and the observing. I had a blast commenting the game. I don't know if anyone in chat has additional comments or questions. Of course, there will be plenty more matches, multiplayer duels to be casted on our official channel or otherwise. Feel free to keep track. Well, the best way to keep track is definitely checking the forum posts we have in the community events channel that is pretty much dedicated to this tournament at the moment on our Discord. And if you have any feedback about anything, for the players if they want to see it, for the organization if we can improve, for the streamers if we can improve, for anything, don't hesitate to chime in. Very much appreciated. And well, thank you all for joining. Siontific, any parting words?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in and all the interest around the tournament. We have a great level of participation. We have 14 games for this first round, and nearly every single one of them is scheduled. We have about 7 or maybe even 8 games happening this weekend, both Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we have lots more content. We're going to do our best to host and have streams for every game. It might feel like a bit to keep up on, so we're going to try and write up some weekly roundups if we can. And there's just going to be a lot more action coming in the coming weeks and months. So appreciate everybody coming along for the ride.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for the appreciation in the latest exchanges in chat. Awesome to see the MP community for Old World, the existing one, getting showcased for generating interest. I think the game shine in a bit of a different light, sure, but shine still in multiplayer, and it's great that the community is providing an entry point to spectate on that, find out about it, have fun with players, interact with veteran members. So I think it's a beautiful community initiative, and we are very happy to support that from Mohawk side. So thank you everyone once again. You'll learn more about us soon, and see you soon. And signing out now.